Hello and welcome to Spurs Kings TV. Oh, hold on, what's it done? Yeah, hello, welcome to Spurs Kings TV. It is your boy Marlon and your boy Ashmatic. Ashmatic, are you well?
Yes, my brother, I'm good, man. I'm blessed. Another Tuesday, but a special one, man. We're gonna get into the North London derby, broski. North London derby. A lot of things to be spoken about, and I just want to get into it, man. No long.
Yeah, let's get into it then. Let's bring out the Spurs fans first before we bring our resident Gooner to chop it up for us. First of all, making his debut on a Tuesday, but not to the channel. Flicks, you good?
How you doing? All good. Yourself?
All good, my brother. All good.
Nice one.
Regular on this channel. Always here on a Tuesday. Orin, you well?
Oh yeah, I'm always well. Always well. Ready to cause some controversy and debates.
And a big man of watch-alongs, he always gets chopped up. He's doing his business at the moment, but Deji, you good?
Yeah, big up my fellow Spurs supporters. Come on, you Spurs! North London weekend. Let's go.
Right. Then, to represent the Gooners tonight, he's going to come on. He happily came on. He's going to come and chop it up for us. He's going to come with chest, hopefully. But welcome. Well, I say warm welcome, but welcome to D. Are you well?
Come on, my brother. There, man. I've been ambushed, man. You don't ambush me. This is some sly ambush thing. This is some honey trap settings, man.
Listen, you can handle yourself, innit? You're Arsenal. You got this, innit?
Look,
Come on, man.
Look, us Spurs fans could talk about Tamworth all day long. There's so much to chop up, but we're not going to, right? There's a big game tomorrow. Let's just get straight into it. Ash.
Yes.
How are we gonna, put a nail in Arteta's coffin tomorrow? What are we gonna do, man?
Basically, how I'm looking at it with Arsenal, they've got a few key injuries in attacking areas. Now, we're no stranger to having a lot of the ball and doing nothing with it. And it just shows like if you've got all of that control, but you can't finish your dinner, then what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So with Arsenal at the moment, they've lost their informed striker, Jesus. I know not all Arsenal fans were happy with the Brazilian. Some man will call him a fraud. I don't know, but he was on form a little piece. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Baby J. Then you had Averts, Some man was seeing it like the second coming. I don't know, man. Right now he's looking like a Werner. I don't know. I don't know how Arsenal feel about it, but yeah, their strike force is looking a bit woeful at the moment. So yeah, I envision Arsenal having a lot of the ball, but if we do our thing, we do it right. I've seen it against Liverpool. I've seen it against City. I've seen it against Villa. I've seen it against United. I've seen it against. Wait a minute.
Oh my God, he turned up. No phase. There you go. Hey, why are you tapping him for? This ain't the time to be tapping him, Ash.
I couldn't believe it. I saw one gooner. I'm thinking, nah, they can't do this to my boy.
I'm saying, try ambush me, man. I'm like,
they were talking wicked. I heard nailing the. I didn't even say hello. He started nailing the comment. I think he didn't even ask me how my week was. Jesus Christ! I couldn't just sit by and watch that happen. No way. But big up.
I've been on a couple streams. I've been on a couple streams with Ash today. He's been like that all day. You know what I mean? He's a bit irritated today. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Why are we giving these niggas time to talk, boys? Come on. This is Spurs Kings, not Arsenal Kings, man. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying my piece, innit? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyone else can jump in if they want to, but I'm just saying that I saw what Everton did to them. You know what I'm saying? I saw what Man United did to them, and when a team puts up a little front, they have a lot of the ball, but huffing and puffing, I don't see no blowing down. So pause. But yeah, that's what it is right now. I'll be real.
Flicks, come in, man. Come in. How are you expecting this game to go tomorrow? It's a massive one for both teams. Both managers are slightly under pressure here.
Yeah. Do you know what? I really don't know. Look, obviously form goes out the window, but then I was looking at the stats this morning where we haven't won a game or even drawn against them in the last 4 or 5 games, especially at the Emirates. Is a very dodgy place. Look, I'd like to say, look, Saka is a big loss for them. Havertz and that, they're starting to flop. I'd like to say we're going to get something, but it's going to be a very difficult task. Let's face it. I really don't know. We just have to see what happens on the night. To be honest, I really don't know what's going to happen.
Oren, I'm going to bring you in quickly before I bring the main man Deji in as well. All right, but look, this game's not about boards. It's not about nothing else. It's about the 11 men on the pitch and Andrew's tactics. Can we go to the Emirates and get our second Premier League win at their ground?
Yeah, for sure. Like, Arsenal haven't been. If you look at the game previously, the start of the season, did Arsenal blow away Spurs? No, they sat back, defended. Anyone could admit that, and it was a set piece goal. They weren't like testing the keeper, or I'm sure they had a couple of chances, but I think that'll be the same thing. I think Arsenal are very defensive this season for some reason. Yes, it's at the Emirates and the crowd will be there, but in a weird, fucked up way, you would think that Spurs right now, beating Liverpool, getting the goal against Tamworth, getting through, those players have a little bit more confidence than the Arsenal players right now. And in a weird, I know that sounds weird, like because of the tables and the positions, but if you look at Arsenal, like I think they lost against United penalties. They lost. Did they lose the last game or drew the last game? Zaka's out. Jesus is out. Havertz isn't scoring. Odegaard isn't like performing to what he was. Like I think he's that dynamic, and I think for sure. Our Spurs can go to Arsenal and get something. There's no fear in the Spurs. Like it's if Spurs lose, Arsenal beat them. It's happened before. No big, it's not going to be a big deal. Yes, Spurs fans will moan and cry and act like the whole world's falling apart and someone's died. But the truth is, Spurs have nothing to lose. Spurs have nothing to lose but to win. No, it's more Arsenal to get something. And if Spurs was to, so I think Spurs going in, no fear, and they will play that way. They're
gun ho, yeah.
What?
Gun ho.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say gung ho. Just no fear. Just go for it. Fucking go for it. That's what the Spurs way is. Go for it. If just keep going, score goals, or fucking just keep going. Players go down, keep going. that's the way. That's the way Spurs
who's going to
is.
score the goals for us?
This is the
Brian?
difference between what it's got to recently, isn't it?
Well, there's
that's the difference of where it's got to. There was never a time in the last few years where you would say Spurs have nothing to lose coming to the Emirates. Like all of a sudden, Spurs have got nothing to lose, and it's all on Arsenal. That does not show you what's going on there. Because what you said is right. I agree with everything you said, by the way.
Yeah, but that's always been the way. That's all. Like every time Spurs have gone to Arsenal at Highbury, even if Spurs have been playing well and Arsenal haven't, Arsenal raised their game. You know what I mean? Like that's the way it is, and it's changed. But I think it's 50-50. It really is. I don't see Arsenal, like, I think a lot of fans or pundits will go Arsenal thrash Spurs, but that's not the case. It's just, I think it's a 50-50 game, but I know one thing, it'll be a fucking good game. It will be a good game no matter, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. The Northland derbies are always a good game. Like, yes, as a Spurs fan, I want Spurs to win, but fuck, I have to pay respect to Arsenal and the history, and it takes two teams to make a game, and the Northland derbies are always good. Always good.
Sod you, Oren. Deji, come in, man. The Oren's chatting crap now. What is he doing here?
I said this is going to be entertaining.
That Arsenal team that I watched, I first and foremost, I just want to say that I told you so. I knew that team was going to get slapped up by Piccadilly on the weekend, and they did. And to see Arsenal out of the two competitions that they were supposed to win is quite laughable. So another season without anything. However, our performance against Tamworth was not great. I'm not going to lie to you. Look, and the other thing is, as great a job as our back line has been doing, I think Kinski's made a big difference. I think Fraser Forster, and it would have been a disaster. But I don't like our back four of Spence, Oro, Dragushin, and Archie Gray. It's a plaster. It's a big, fat, dirty plaster. That doesn't work for me. And Arsenal are ruined. They're pissed. They're pissed from the weekend. Arsenal should win. I think it's going to be a tight game. It shouldn't be a tight game because we've got our back five missing. But I think Arsenal get this over the line and win 2-1. I have to say though, FaZe and D, if you man don't win tomorrow, no. Because let me tell you this now. Let me
After
tell
all
you,
of that,
I'm not hearing no ifs and buts. If Arsenal was without Gabriel, Saliba, Raya, Timber, and you were replacing them with Ben White, Tommy Yasu, and Kivior, and some next brother in goal, bro, I'm expect me if we beat you less than 3+ goals, I'd be disappointed. That is the truth, and that's what you're up against with Spurs. That back line should not be doing anything. They are playing out of their skin. But if you brothers are legit, you should be able to beat that Tottenham team. You don't beat them, FaZe, as much as I love you, bro, as much as I love you. On the next show, I would request Marlon that it's live. Like we're in the same venue.
he requested that.
And
It's
if FaZe
perfect.
is a good sport and if these are good sport, then you man must wait on us. I swear down, you must wait on us. Whatever we want, whatever orders we're making. If I send you to the shop to go and get me like a ginger beer real quick, or you know what I mean, like go like FaZe, go and get it. You know what I mean? I'm not asking please and there ain't no thank you. So know what's coming your way. Innit? So do your job. If not, man's gonna make you a runner for the next week. Yeah, so know that. Yeah. If we have to use We Are Tottenham TV studio, so be it. I don't care. These men have to work for us.
That's a nice speech, Deji, man. That's a nice speech because you're quite good at the speeches. You know what I mean? I've noticed that you've got really good speeches. That you're quite good at this personality thing. You know what I mean? You're good at this. You know what I'm saying? He's really good. I've already had this conversation with him already. He's good at this.
You know what? I heard it earlier as well, D. I'm surprised he didn't do the. But earlier when he did it, he did the Vieira Lundberg. But he didn't draw for it on this one. He gave us the light version.
Yeah, because he knows because I've already rebutted him, Chinks. Hey, Chinks, he already knows. He had a little spar earlier, and he thought he's coming with a new approach today. He's coming with, you know, he's gone. You know what? Those jabs weren't really working. Let me try to figure out a couple of. He knows this. Deji knows this. He's coming with a new approach.
So Dave, come on, bring us the Arsenal side. Obviously, you've heard the Spurs fans what we've got to say. How are you guys feeling and going into this game? Because obviously, we're 13th now. I think we've gone down the place tonight because West Ham won.
Yeah.
We've lost 10 games already this season. You lot must be feeling a bit confident about this.
Do you know what? I'll be real. If I'm gonna have a real conversation and be honest with you, I'll be real. You see what Aaron just done here. As much as he's been a bit inconsistent, what he's managed to do is give Tottenham a level of like confidence to no matter who they play, they can win on that day. That's what he's managed to do. Like I would say, no matter who they play.
About them like that. Don't talk about them like that.
No.
That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. Don't talk to them like that.
Hey, come on, man. Come on, allow it.
I can't let him just you like my brothers. I can't let him disrespect you like this, man.
No, on the real though.
Yeah,
like,
what he said.
What did he say?
No, of course. Sorry.
No. On the real, I'll say any game that Tottenham play now, they can struggle against Tamworth and then beat City. They can, you know what I mean? They can beat Liverpool, then lose to Brentford or Bournemouth or something like that. That's where they're at. So, and if they play any team in the world, if they're their full team, I would say that they can probably go toe to toe with any team in the world if they play properly. So that's more where I'm at with Tottenham. But when we're going to Tottenham's ground, we're not in a position where we can.
You know you're disrespecting them because all of this stuff is what people used to say about us when we were shit. You know you're saying it to them, and you know it's disrespectful.
No, but it's real. No, but this is the real. This is the facts of it. You get me? Like Tottenham they're bipolar, innit? You know what I'm saying? They got bipolar, so they're one of them teams that's what Andrew's done. He's made them just erratic. But that erraticness is you can't judge it. Like how are we meant to go into the game and say, yeah, let's do this or do that. Like we've got the real structure. Their erraticness is the problem that we've got to deal with because they don't even know what they're coming with. That's why you got Deji, who's like Deji. Then you got Oren, who's like Oren. Do you get me? That's why you got two totally different versions of what can happen. One is like, yeah, we just got to go there and anything can happen. And Deji, he thinks I don't know, Deji's Deji, isn't it? So what I'm saying is there's just two completely different variations of the game. But for Arsenal fans, we're like, we don't even know what version you lot are going to come with.
What version are we going to see of you, though, bro? What version are we going to see of you? That's what I want to know. How are you going to?
Our version is really similar. It's always similar. We're a bit lackluster at the minute, and like I didn't know we were such a one-man team until Saka got injured. I genuinely believe that we were a bit more than that. I think other people kind of knew before I did. So I feel like now, yeah, exactly. So I feel like tomorrow, for example, when we go into the game now, I feel like it's going to be an even game in terms of football ability because you guys are good on the ball, so are we. But it's all about taking your chances, and we don't have no gunmen in our team. We've got 0 gunmen in our team. So I've got no faith in taking chances.
Sterling's a gunman, no?
Is that Deji? If that's Deji asking me, I'm not answering.
I'll be honest. I'm not really a fan of Sterling, man. I said it on another stream, man. I was asking, like, out of the system and without Pep, like, he just seems a bit bland. I don't really have high hopes for him, to be honest. Sterling, I think he's a bit pants.
More like shillings, isn't it?
Yeah,
he had a good cameo the other day, but I mean that's just all it was, a good cameo. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you don't expect
He's been very quiet.
I think he'll start tomorrow. I think Sterling will start.
So you think Spence will body him like he did Salah? Because Salah got put in the pocket still. Can't lie.
Yeah, Spencer's good. Spencer's he's very underrated though, man. Like Spencer's underrated. He's like he reminds me of Wan-Bissaka, like in terms of defensive ability. You know what I'm saying?
I love Spence. Back in his Nottingham Forest days, quality.
He's still quality.
Oh yeah, he's still quality now. But I'm on about in his Nottingham Forest days when he was on loan from Middlesbrough. I'm seeing his kid on the freaking wing. I'm thinking, fucking hell, I want Spurs to sign him up. Obviously they did in the end, but the likes of Conte was just never using him up until now.
Even Postecoglou didn't use him. He's been forced to use him. But I would say Spence is better than Udogie and Porro.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. And even like you talking about the defence earlier, Porro. I don't know if it's just me, but Porro's just been downhill the past month or so, and I'd even start Reguilon over him tomorrow night.
That's why I'm saying that I'm nervous about the game. Usually, I'm more bullish. I want my team to win, but if we're using logic and we're looking at that back line doesn't give anyone with any confidence.
Are we saying though Martinelli's gonna body Porro? Is that what man's saying then?
Oh, Porro. It's not about being bodied. Porro doesn't track his man. We've seen that the whole season.
Yeah.
So Martinelli is someone that can lose Porro. Yeah, we don't have to worry about the right hand side because there's no Saka and whoever Arsenal put out there. The one thing that even though these guys are saying they don't have a gunman, Arsenal do create chances, and there's one thing guaranteed about when you play Spurs: we will allow chances. You get me? And let's be real, even when we beat Liverpool, they got in. They got through us. But Kingsky ain't the fridge. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think they were a little bit rattled by the Kingsky fella in goal, who happens to be very, very good. But I'm not prepared to allow Arsenal to have that many. Arsenal are going to have a lot of chances tomorrow. Guaranteed. They're going to have loads. And if they get it right, Arsenal could easily score 3 or 4 goals. That's what I'm saying to the Arsenal man them on the chat. Really and truly, there isn't a better time to play Spurs. You just got knocked out of the FA Cup. This is an opportunity.
Vice versa, though. Vice versa as well.
We're not knocked out. We're not knocked out, bro.
No, but this is.
There's no better time to play Arsenal.
Is it not? Yeah.
I don't know about that. Why isn't it? I think what is wrong with Arsenal? They're all right.
They're missing
2 players.
Yeah, exactly. Those 2 players have affected the team. And like I said, it's not just. Yes, you can say Xhaka is missing, but if you look, like at the start of this season, a lot of people said Arsenal. This was the year Arsenal were going to win it, and I actually turned around like to an Arsenal fan, and he got pissed off at me and said, "You won't win it. The best time for Arsenal to win the league was last year," and I can actually see shades of what happened with Poch and Spurs happening to Arsenal. Because if you remember, Spurs could have won the league twice. They didn't. The third season, they started to decline. And then the fourth season, because the mentality of those players, right? If Arteta had won the FA Cup or a cup, even if you look at Liverpool, they missed out in the league the first season, well, that season, but then they won the Champions League. So that gave the players motivation to then win the league. Arsenal haven't won anything, no trophies or nothing. So if you look at those players, yes, they are good, but that mentality, it's not there. They're not like, even with Arteta, he's like, if you look at Arsenal in the last two seasons, they were attacking, they were like fluent, they were like ripping. But this season, they're not. And like I said, at White Hart Lane, I expected Arsenal, the whole who Arsenal is going to trash Spurs. I was so surprised and shocked to see Arsenal sitting back and defending. And that's what they did most of the match. They sat back and defended. And I'm like, but this is Arsenal. This is the Arsenal team that's going to win. So I think tomorrow it's going to be, like I said, tomorrow's like an even game. And yes, the back four for Spurs, Perro and everything. But if you watch against Liverpool, one thing Perro didn't do was he didn't bump forward as much. They've both been told. I think Angie has told Perro, stop getting forward fucking like a headless chicken. Sit back, sit deep, watch your runner. And I think that's going to be the setup tomorrow.
Oren, I like what you're saying. If only we were that logical as a team. And the reason why I say that is, D made a really good point about we don't know what Tottenham. The only positive I would say is that because nobody knows what sort of Tottenham team's going to turn up, rival fans are even fairer. So when we first played Liverpool in that 6-3, I was speaking to a lot of Liverpool fans going into the game, and they were all panicking like they could lose to Spurs. But what I've concluded since that game is that Postecoglou plays in the same way, but he's a gambler. So his favourite casino game
Definitely.
is Russian roulette. We're gonna play the same time. We're gonna play the same way, and I'm gonna vote red. And if it's red, I double my money. And if it's black, I lose my money. And I think the last performances has further given me the confirmation that that's how he plays. For example, same way we managed to get a result against Liverpool, then we bloody go to Tamworth and get a draw. If Tottenham turn up and we land red, Tottenham wipe the floor with Arsenal tomorrow. I could see us scoring 4 or 5 goals. But if we turn up and we land black, we could get lamped 5-1 tomorrow. And that's my fear. Because I don't think we can say with confidence the players will turn up, they will be ready to do X, they will be ready to do Y. Because we've seen them not turn up. And for me, the proof was the Tamworth game, where literally you should just show your class, show that you're 4 or 5 levels above these brothers. And we bloody drew. Bro, I would have been pissed if we drew 0-0 with Huddersfield or Norwich and we drew 0-0 with Tamworth. So I can't, I'm not going to, I can't, I'm hoping Spurs turn up tomorrow, but I'm also conscious that these brothers are crazy, Postecoglou's crazy, and they could really disgrace us as well tomorrow.
But actually, don't you think against Liverpool, when we played them in the cup, we weren't as far forward. Like we were kind of doing the whole little mid-block thing.
But he explained that. He explained why though.
But I'm saying, do you not think that could translate into the Arsenal game? Is what.
What did Postecoglou say? He said he said the reason why we played like that is because the players have no legs.
Yeah, I hear that.
So it wasn't a tactical change. The players couldn't do what he wanted them to do.
I hear that, but we don't have all of our players back still. So that could be an element still where he still plays like that. If we had a Mickey van der Ven and a Romero in defence, then I could see him changing and being a bit more forward. Yeah, I'm trying to say front-footed. But where we still got Archie Gray and Dragush in there, they're not the quickest of centre-backs. They've got Sterling on the right. They've got Martinelli on the left. They're both quick. And remember, last time we played them, it was Martinelli that got in behind us and almost set up a goal. You know what I mean? By hitting that, coming across the box and almost scoring a goal there. So, I don't know. Maybe, like Oren was saying, there might be a few tweaks. I'm not saying he's going to change it drastically, but... Or is it a thing what you're saying? You're saying, basically, whoever goes for it wins. You know what I mean? If Arsenal go for it, they win.
I'll just say this last thing. I hear what you're saying. The only thing that scares me, I'm just being real. Like if you watch the United game, Maguire had a crazy performance. Let's be real.
The lit as well.
So and the lit. So Arsenal, even if they're not they haven't got any gunmen, they can open up teams. And I would argue that United defense is better than whatever we're putting out tomorrow, which means Arsenal will open us up. Guaranteed, we're getting
But
open.
can't Spurs open Arsenal up?
I don't like our attack. I can't see how we open Arsenal up. I really can't. I think our attack is rubbish.
Wait, who do you think? All right, can I just ask a general question? I want to hear what everyone thinks. I want to hear, obviously, FaZe, what do you think your starting lineup is for Arsenal? And then anyone for the Spurs panel, they can jump in and say what they think the Spurs lineup is going to be. I want to hear their matchups. So, what do you think, bro? FaZe, what do you think in terms of like Arsenal? How do you think you'll set up? Like, who will start? Sorry.
We're down to our bare bones, though, man. I think it pretty much writes itself, isn't it? I think we've only got Trossard, Havertz, and Sterling. And the only people fit, so the rest of the team's regular. He might jink it about in midfield. But
So what is that? Raya in goal, and then your centre backs obviously Gabriel Saliba. Left back is Skelly, yeah. Am I right in saying that?
I believe so. Yeah.
And then right back is Timber, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your back four or back five.
It's Timber.
And then in midfield, that's what I want to hear. Yeah, Timber. Sorry, Timber's right back.
Yeah.
But to be fair, we've got our first choice team up until Odegaard.
Right.
That's the truth of it.
So what? Mourinho is that first choice? Mourinho's first choice. Then?
No, he won't play. He'll be Partey and Rice because Timber's
He should be Partey and Rice.
Yeah,
over Mourinho. Why do you think Mourinho would start? I thought Mourinho would have started. No.
I think he'll go
on the bench.
Yeah, be more or maybe it could be Rice might. Depends how what he goes with, innit? Because if he wants to be solid, how he was against you last time, he could just do that. And that seems like a more sensible bet from him. That's what I think he'll do.
Do you think he'll put Skelly at left back? He'll go and put Timber there and put Partey at right back, and then move Mourinho in the middle.
It's an option. It's an option.
It's an Arteta thing to do.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah. It's an option. It actually is an option. I don't know, man.
You saying, do you think Partey will start over Mourinho? Yeah,
yeah. He'll play Partey. He'll play Partey.
Who would be the Partey? Would be in the 6, or Rice would be in the left 8.
Partey 6, Rice 8, Odegaard 10, like normal. That's our first choice midfield. I know he likes Mourinho for balance, so he could fling him in there if he wants to, which I can't really judge. But for me, you just play Rice, Partey, and Odegaard, and just leave it like that. Play Sterling right wing, Martinelli left wing.
You think you'll play Partey as an 8 over Rice?
No, as a 6. Partey as a 6.
Partey 6, yeah. Okay.
And then Rice is the left 8. And the right 8 is Odegaard, isn't it? That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's our first. That's our first choice.
Yeah,
midfield,
and then
really.
Up front is Havertz, and then what?
Sterling right. Sterling right. Martinelli left. But I think like I wouldn't be surprised to see Trossard on the left and Martinelli right though.
Martinelli
I wouldn't be surprised
right.
to see that either.
Why is that then?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Why is that?
Because Trossard's a better left winger than he is a right winger.
Okay.
But it's more about catering
when he starts. Doesn't play well when he starts. Is he not better off coming off the bench?
Trossard plays terribly. He plays terribly when he starts. But I mean, if we've been lackluster in front of goal, I mean, if there's anyone you want to get a chance, it's going to be Trossard, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. So it's like whether you get him on the pitch or whether you want to play better football. It's either or. I don't like Trossard personally. I don't like any of our attackers personally, but
there we go.
Trossard is he does get goals. He can get a goal.
On the bench, who's on your bench then to come and change things?
Who's on the bench?
Well, obviously everyone's injured, isn't it? So Zinchenko, you got Kivior, you got.
Oh, well, go on, Jay.
When I'm home.
Sorry,
I didn't even know what was going on.
Ding dongs and all. It's like a door. What the
I've
fuck?
never heard that. I haven't heard that since I was about 5.
You see, man's got the ring bell now, yeah.
Oh, seriously, bro. Like people not knock anymore.
Now, people, you can't just turn up at a man's yard. You got a rock thing.
Imagine someone knocking on your door. And it's like, is it the police?
If-
It's probably the police.
Broski, if I get a knock at the door, I expect it to be a parcel and that's it. Anything else, I'm going mad.
All right, cool. Who's on the bench? Did you say who's on your bench?
We got like on our bench will be the Kiviors, the Zinchenkos, the Calafiori.
Well, who
A
can
lot of
change the game off the
Jorginho.
bench? Though? Who can change the game off your bench? Is what I'm asking, really.
No one really, because everyone's injured. Waneri's injured, Jesus is injured.
So there is
No one really.
There's a chance, like if like the game's 0-0, for example, and it's 70 minutes, and obviously you lot played last. Remember, you lot played on Sunday, innit? Is there going to be a point in the game where you man tire? Do you reckon, or do you think you're concerned?
Yeah, definitely. But there'll only be one attacker on our more or less on our bench, which would be if you play, we've got 4: Havertz, Sterling, Trossard, and Martinelli. Only 3 of them are gonna play. So whoever doesn't play is on the bench. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
So
all right, cool.
It's one of those.
That's the point I'm trying to make, Dej. But anyway, that's the nuances. I want to hear what the Spurs fans want to say about who they think they will start, and then I want to talk about matchups. I'll let Jay jump in, and Flicks can go in after. Would you not think that the lineup for Spurs will be?
Me, I'm going with Kinksky in goal, 2-2. Come on, call it against Liverpool. Back
Can I just
four.
ask you quickly, before you say that, Kinski ahead of Vicario moving forward?
Yeah.
It's a little early, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to wait.
It's
Sorry.
early, but where's your
It's early
team got?
days.
But
Yeah.
first,
I'm seeing
Yeah.
it.
And
the
there's
fact he caught a corner on Sunday.
Exactly.
He was in.
That's it.
It's
That's
a
it. My work here is done.
yeah, it's sorry to interrupt you, Flicks, but yes, I think Vicario should be very fucking worried. And it's not only his catching, it's the fact that the corners and everything, Vicario's shouting and panicking. Kingsley's actually moving players into position.
Yeah.
You stand there, you go there. No, you get the fuck out. And he's only been there for 2 days.
Exactly.
And to have the respect and command and his passing as well for 2 days, he's come in and played for 2 days. Yet he might as well be the captain.
Oh, is he a new signing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the goalkeeper.
That's
And
arrogance.
he's got a kick on him as well.
January.
He can find the
Yeah.
runners as well.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's better than
Is
Vicario.
Vicario fit? Or is he
No.
like training fit? He's not
He's
fit.
training.
Well, obviously he's nervous, isn't it? You see my man come. He's
Come back early.
Yeah.
He started putting the gloves on, like you get me. When it goes,
Yeah.
He knows.
started clapping and that to say that. Look, guys, I'm all right. Look.
Yeah.
Do you know what? To finally give the Spurs credit, this signing could end up being the most underrated signing of the season so far in the January window if Spurs play their cards right.
I
Flicks.
agree. I think
Wait. Sorry, Flex. You were talking about lineups. Let's go with that. Let's carry on. Sorry.
I like this. I like this interchanging. He says a position. Everyone dives in. Everyone's like,
We fucking here all night.
all right, cool. We got a system here. Go on.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Porro being dropped tomorrow. I'm going with Serge.
He says a position and everyone dives in. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I wasn't even in the room.
I
Sorry.
stand by my words, Slippy. I stand by my words.
I don't think he drops Porro tomorrow.
You reckon?
No, he won't drop Porro tomorrow.
We haven't got a left.
We haven't got a left back.
If Porro doesn't play, who plays?
I'm going to play regular on left back.
Just stick Reggie on there.
No, and
Reggie.
Jason.
Regs, regular crew.
Not
I
Reggie.
like Regulon, you know. But,
Listen, I'm not like. Listen, he's part of the squad, so we should utilize him if we need to utilize him. And Porro's form over the last 5-10, maybe even longer, if you want to be really specific. But Porro's form has been kind of, a bit
Apart from
leaving.
Newcastle.
Yeah. But
I said that earlier on. The past 2 months, he's been poor.
yeah, no, definitely. And if Udogie was fit, or if the problem for me with Reggie is essentially we've had him for so long and we've not utilized him. Do you know what I mean? This is an exclusion that reflects badly on the manager, essentially. when, like Spence, it reflects badly on the manager that these players can come in and perform to a decent level, and we flogged our starters to a point that they have injuries. It's something that I know, like when I'm critiquing the manager, I'm not just like giving him a pass on that. I'm saying, okay, cool. So now I'm thinking the stubbornness of Ange does not allow him to now say, all right, let's start Reggie in a North London derby. Do you see what I mean? So whilst he might have a decent point, whilst he's shown decent cameos, the manager isn't going to expose himself. Pause, CP. To this sort of criticism or logic imbalance of why he wasn't playing earlier. So I don't think he'd start regular.
Just going by the comment, do like with Spurs, do we think this is basically going to be our defense? Spence, Gray, Dragu, and Porro. Ain't gonna be
Yeah, I'll
That's
just
the
the rest
defense.
of
It
that.
can't be done. There's no other options as a gav.
Can I
just say, even if that's our defense, that's not a good defense.
It's okay.
No, but that's
What we've had to work with, but I'm not happy.
No
Who else you
one
gonna
is saying
put there
that this defense is amazing. No one is
Yeah.
saying that. What we're saying is, in reality, that's defense who can play.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, this-
You know what I mean? That's like
That's what we
There's no one
got.
else.
that's all you got. Like what else? I saw Ben Davies training, but
Mm.
I do think that the Spurs defense, I think Gray and Dragusin, like they have been helped so much by Kingsley since he came in. Like it's not all. I've watched that Spurs defense, and yes, of course, Spurs have been through rough patch and loss, but it's not like it makes you think like the way pundits talk about it and everything. It makes you think Spurs are conceding 6 goals every game. That's not the case. You know what I mean? They have stepped up. They're playing well. I think the midfield is going to be the key.
Well, this is where we want to get onto.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is where we're going to get onto. Flicks, carry on.
Who's playing in the field?
I see one player in it, and everyone's just gonna.
Yeah.
Jump.
It's a whole one.
As long as it's okay with CP. I know he's got some sort of permits or reviews he needs to do before people start piling on. But as long,
Let him have context. Let him have context. Go on.
Right, I'm going to go with 3 in midfield: Basuma, Madders, and Bergville. He needs a start. He's been quality past 2 or 3 games. It's been phenomenal. And then the top 3 before everyone else jumps right in right now. My top 3: Kulusevski, Sonny, and Solanke up top.
Okay, it's right. Listen, I think that's interesting. My thing is like how we played against Liverpool. That I was like, I want to see Bergvall, Bizuma. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at Madison, and I'm like, I think you're good, but if this is a transition game, or what are we trying to do in this game, and consequently, what do we need from that third midfielder? Because essentially, you've got Kulu, Sarr, or Madison. Because for me, Bizuma, whilst I've not been happy with his inconsistent form, last couple of games, he's done exactly what I want from him in that role. So happy for him to continue. Like, please continue doing what you're doing right now. Bergvall made us look competent against Tamworth, which we'll get into that later, why we needed to look competent against Tamworth. And against Newcastle, I thought he played well. Against Liverpool, he played well. He has to start. I hope Ange backs that. And I think if he's being sensible, it really should be Kulusevski. And I don't think Johnson really deserves a start, but I really didn't like Maddison's performance against Tamworth. In the first half, I thought he was moving the ball so slowly.
Hey, do you not think that's down to Johnson, Werner, and even Mikey Moore needs to come in for criticism for because Maddison was trying to make things work, but the front three just wasn't giving him any options.
I understand that, but the thing is that for me, Maddison, he doesn't play like he used to play. He used to play quicker, turn on the ball, and he's taken a lot of touches for me. And I appreciate he's looking for runs and things like that. But I'm saying you can force players to do what you want by the weight of your pass and how you move the ball and stuff. I see Bruno plays like that, do it all the time. when the way you move the ball, how you pass the ball to the players, you're forcing them to make decisions and stuff.
All
And I
right.
just felt in the first half there was a lot of finger pointing. There was a lot of he looked good, but he is a Premier League, top half leading playmaker playing against a guy who literally his wife gave birth 5 hours before, and a guy who's a high school team. I expect him to be dictating these games. Like the fact he dictated the game with no G, no A, no nothing, just bare finger pointing and vibes. Yeah, like that's not that's what I'm saying. Like, what is the level and bar?
All right.
Everyone was poor against Tamworth, and just because he was a little bit less poor than the other players doesn't mean he played well.
I want to ask something, like Arsenal fans, just real quick. Do you think Party will eat up Madison? Because yeah, I know, strong, right? Do you think he will handle Madison? Because obviously, I expect that to be the matchup. Do you know, unless you don't disagree. Well, because I'm looking at midfield of what Rice is going to be towards the left, right? Is a left eight. Am I right or wrong? And then
Yeah, you're right.
and then Party's more in the six, but sometimes veers to the right to link up with the right side of the play. No.
Yeah.
So if Party moves towards the right, Madison is our left-sided midfielder. He's our left eight. So, do you think that Party would have an easy job if he had to come against Madison? Is what I want to know.
Do
Or
you
do you
know
think
how?
that,
Do you know how we? Do you know how you will judge it? Yeah, is based on a lot of the time. If you talk about an attacking sense for Madison, you feel like he's going to be able to do his little twists and turns and get a little bit of space from Party. But also on the flip side of that is you don't want Arsenal to play out, and if you give Party Madison pressing Party is also not a good idea because Madison is not the player that I feel can press Party. And if he does go and press Party, if you give Party time and space, he controls the whole game. And that's probably more why I've always thought about Odegaard is probably a bit more of a the player that we would have needed more so than Madison because Odegaard can go and do that sticking to the six in a way and making sure that he doesn't twist and turn too much because Party's game is based on dictating the game. So even though you're going to feel can Madison get the better of Party in one sense, it's exactly the same. Can Madison get close to?
And the one point I just want to add, I'm just saying this off the cuff, but I'm not sure. Madison didn't start against Liverpool, obviously, because he was suspended,
yeah,
and I don't think he started against Man United in the previous round, did he?
No, we didn't.
No,
Who are you talking
So,
about?
he was on the bench.
No, he was on the bench. Yeah,
yeah,
because
so
I think he was sick. Yeah,
yes, you see what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that I wouldn't play him, but I'm also saying, okay, if you're gonna go Bazuma and Bergval, is the third person? Should they not be a runner? Is that or are you happy to go with the playmaker? And that's the question I'm posing to the panel. Like, because I think Bazuma and Bergval should both be in, and therefore that leaves Sarr, Madison, or Kulu as the third person. And I'm just curious how you guys would set up.
I don't know because like when I saw Sarr at Newcastle, yes, he has energy. Yes, he presses. He gets forward at times, but at times I don't really see him on the ball.
Technical consistency.
Technical, yeah, exactly. I don't really see him looking after the ball. When at times when Tottenham, our biggest problem is controlling games at times in terms of the speed of the game or slowing it down. Sometimes we're too hurried to get it forward, and then when we're in a transition, that's when we lose the ball, and then that changes the game state, and we put pressure on ourselves. And a game like Arsenal in a North London derby, that's what you don't want to do because I expect Arsenal to have a lot of the ball at home. I don't know about you guys, but when we do see the ball, we need to kind of stick onto it and then progress up the pitch, and then we need players that can hold on to it. So then that's why I hear what Flicks is saying because Matters, at least if you give him the ball, he don't lose it. So when you got Sarr in there, you've got another issue where Sarr, obviously, yes, he's going to be like a ball in a china shop, and he's going to try and win you back that ball. He's going to cover a lot of ground and win those duels. But in possession, is he safe? So we've got that kind of dilemma at the moment in midfield. So I throw it back.
It can be safe. He
Dude, so-
can have good technical games, and sometimes he just passes into the opposition for fun.
inconsistent,
Like,
very inconsistent for me. That's the problem with Saar. And like, yeah, it depends who gets up for the game. Like, is Saar going to be the big game player we need?
is everyone else sold on? Is everyone else sold on Bergvall and Bizuma starting?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the. I think that's going to be the
It's
start.
just dependent. Yeah, it's always going to be dependent on if it's Kulu, Madders, or Saar.
Yeah.
It's always going to be one of
Who
them.
are you guys? Who are you guys going with for the third spot then?
I think he might play. He might play Saar to give the energy, and then have Kuleveski out wide instead of Johnson.
Yeah, he's
Keep
gonna have
Kuleveski
to
out the way,
yeah.
and use So Saar, Basuma, Burville is going to offer energy and direction, and Kuleveski out wide. Madison come off the bench. I think that might be the case because that's a strong middle.
All right. I want to know though. Question to everyone: if Ange manages to get this over the line, does Ange deserve?
Hold on. Let's ask the Gooners first. If
What
Ange
line?
gets this
What
over the
line?
line,
What line? What
if
line? What
if
line?
Ange gets this over the line,
It's the win.
what's your feelings?
What
towards Arteta?
what are we classifying as getting over the line? A win or
A
or,
win.
or a
Win.
result?
line?
I'm talking about a win. I'm talking about
A win. A win. Okay.
win.
Arsenal
Oh,
boys first,
okay,
man.
okay.
Let's do the Gooners first because
Yeah.
they're here.
That's what I'm saying.
If Spurs were to win this game, what's your thoughts on Arteta going forward?
Better question. Sorry, my bad.
You want to go first?
I'll let Chinks answer. No, I'll let Chinks go.
You know what they're gonna say? They're Arteta till I die, man.
Yeah, and I still
I'm definitely on tech.
if he loses, well done, Ange, innit, man? Because realistically, what is it? We're Pile of Pulis, we're Stoke. We only rely on set pieces. We got all the injuries. Our finishing is poor. We just got knocked out.
Hold on, Faith. You can't sit here on the Spurs channel and sit there and go injuries.
Did I say injuries? Did I say that? Did I even get there yet?
Yeah, you said injuries.
What about I said set piece FC though, man? Why didn't you attack that one?
Because that
Yeah,
works.
whoa, but Marlon, you said excuses or injuries are just excuses.
No, I did because FaZe said on the Rivals months ago when I forgot who it was. One of the teams, Man United was saying about injuries, and he's like, "But that's excuses." But now he's saying Arsenal got injuries.
I can't, but I don't know if CP was being sarcastic or
Don't
not.
even sound like me. Don't even sound like me.
Yeah, bro.
FaZe, I watch all the Rivals.
Picking on any light skin guy.
What was the question? What was the question again? We lost.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Does Arteta need to be looked at sideways? If
That's it. Yeah.
was it 13th place? Are we 13th now? Or are we 14th?
It's the Premier League,
We're
and
13th.
can't be, man.
We
Because
could be 14th by the first time we finished the game.
that's crazy. What are we even talking about? That's crazy. That's mad. Think about that.
Second.
You're asking me about my manager. You're sitting in 13th. That's crazy.
Yeah, you got
That's
bigger worries,
absurd.
man.
That's
You got
great.
bigger problems.
Different scenario though. Completely different scenarios.
Well,
Yeah, I know one. I'd rather be in
Self-reflection
mine.
therapy needs to be had.
Would you though? Would you?
1,000% yes. Would you?
all right.
That's the weakest reverse psychology I think's ever been used against me.
Forget that. 'Cause I know what you think of Spurs, innit? I know what you don't think of Spurs. But clearly, we're 13th, innit? No respect, little bro thing, innit? I get it.
No, it's
But hold on a second.
You could still win. I only brought that up because you was cheeky enough to ask me about my manager.
No,
based
but
on everything what he's done on one game. Do you really think you guys are that important? That's crazy.
The reason why I'm asking that question is right because the only team you've beat in the last 4 or 5 is Brentford. You've drawn against
That's
Brighton.
not true.
You've lost to Newcastle,
Yeah,
and
we didn't
you've
play.
lost to a 10-man Man United.
What penalties?
It's
It's a draw, actually.
Yeah, it's a draw. You should.
Alright, so we can do that, and you can throw that particular run of games in my face. Then I could just turn around and throw your whole season in your face.
It's very true. It's very true. It's like houses and everything.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm asking about your manager is not because of how Spurs' situation is. It's more to do with this is meant to be the season that Arsenal were meant to be able to go that extra step, but yet they're doing exactly what they were doing years before, and they're not taking that step forward. Like your fan base is going crazy at the moment. It might not be you two, but your whole fan base is looking at going, this ain't the situation you lot should be in right now.
Yeah, but you know my fan base is full of idiots, though. How would you even come here with that? No,
It's true.
I
It's
must
true.
talk about them fools. This is what's wrong with the world.
Yeah.
This is what's wrong with the world.
Yeah.
There's so much other positive, common, level-headed people that can see where we are and remember where we've been. And then the guy that who gave us that, what one game we should throw him in the bin. I think that's ungrateful. People like that, I don't even really want to be associated with them. Unfortunately, I have to.
Hey, Justine,
Nonsense.
pause, yeah. Pause, yeah. But what would it take for you?
Yeah, just well, I've had this for time, bro. Just.
Yeah, I know. Right, it's mad. What would it take for you though for like Arteta?
Yeah,
to
go on,
keep
listen.
Arteta around? What would it take? What's your like your pressure, like your your threshold where you're like enough's
Do you know what? Yeah, no, to get to Arteta right, it will take a little while. But do you know why? Because I was at a couple of games. Was it a couple of seasons ago? Like not yet. Yeah, a couple of games like recently and a couple of seasons back, and I saw like how he is. If you see him like in the flesh, you realize how much of a maniac this guy is. Like it's not like he goes through it the same way I'm going through it. Like the main thing that I wanted was to have a manager that felt it like I did. And when you see Arteta in the flesh, you realize he really is hurting more than anyone else. And so it's when I feel like he doesn't believe he can do it anymore. Because if we was to have the same opinion, you know, like a lot of the Arsenal fan base, they're like, "Oh, we're out of the title race," or "Liverpool have won it." You know that whole thing that the Arsenal fan base do. If the players had that attitude, I'll be going ballistic. If the players back behind the scenes and that training was saying, "Oh, you know what, we've lost, we're out of the title race now," and Arteta was telling them, "Yeah, guys, you know what, we're 6 points behind, they got a game in hand, we're out of it, we'll focus on next season," I would be going mad, saying, "Oh, you look crazy, you're only 6 points behind, anything can happen, you got 19 games left." So that's what I would be saying, and I know for a fact Arteta's saying that to them, and that's what they're saying. The fan base is saying we're out of it, but they don't have the same standards as they want the players to have. Because they should be saying the same thing that they want the players to have, isn't it? By rights.
You saying the fans are too entitled then? Is that what it is?
Wait, we've never won the Champions League in our lifetime, but they expect the Champions League. How does that make sense? They're giving Arteta's been there for 5 years, and they're saying,
ambition, isn't it? They've got ambition that they want to see their.
Go support City then, man.
Yeah, they got.
You're here or you're not. You're here or you're not.
No,
I don't really care how you feel. You're here or you're not. If you're that demanding and that's what you want.
No, but it's the same as the Tottenham. It's the same as Tottenham. It's the same as Tottenham, really and truly. We're like similar, in different positions, but we've got the similar ethoses and stuff like that. We're both building clubs. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you guys are like talking about and shouldn't be there and stuff like that, I'm just thinking and shouldn't be there. What is it that you're really looking for? Because you've had the Contes, you've had the Mourinhos. You have to build, innit? This is what it is. We're building clubs. We're not Chelsea. We're not Man City. We're not Man United.
And people forget that like the likes of Man City and Chelsea, they weren't always glorious. It took a big hormone of Chelsea was about to get relegated, and it was a last minute goal that kept them up. Man City was going nowhere. Man City was a real.
No, but sorry to cut you, bro. Sorry to cut you, my guy. Do you know what it is? Yeah, I say this all the time. Arsenal, Tottenham, and Liverpool are building clubs. So we have to kind of build and like, you know what I mean, like kind of get to that stage where we're building from within and watch our finances. Man City, Man United, and Chelsea are spending clubs. So when one of our teams are really going through it, and where like I see people say Anjao and stuff like this and Arteta, I'm looking at it thinking you're having the expectation because you're on streams all day talking to rival fans of their expectations on their club. That's the point that I'm making. Like, because Real Madrid have got a standard where they sack a manager and win the Champions League, the sack manager win the Champions League. Yeah, go on, bro.
No, I was going to say, do you think fans focus on other fans too much then? Is that what you're basically saying?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that cool.
The expectations. Expectations as well.
That's what it comes down
But on the flip side, all right, cool. But on the flip side,
because more often than not, you're talking to rival fans more than your own fans.
But certain times, Spurs fans, Arsenal fans, for some of them, if they come out the top four, that's unacceptable. After challenging consistently for like 2 to 3 seasons, getting second, and all of a sudden you're fourth, or even worse, you're fifth, then you're looking at the manager sideways. I think with fans,
Ash, isn't that the hypocrisy of fans? That for so many years so many Spurs fans have said, "Oh, making the Champions League isn't a flex. It's nothing. It don't mean nothing. Who cares about Champions League? Yeah, it's about winning trophies." And now we've fallen off and we're mid-table and we're in cups and stuff. They're like, hey, check out this terrible league performance. What's going on? Do you know what I mean? And like, it's almost like you're damned if you do, you're damned if
But
you
Jay,
don't. No matter the situation, whilst I'm not saying the fans shouldn't moan, I'm saying no matter what the situation was, fans would moan about something.
But Jay, if we were seventh,
context of where
yeah,
it is.
but if we were seventh or eighth, right now, say we were seventh or eighth,
Yeah.
do you think Spurs fans would still be moaning? But do you think there'd be so much edge out if we were seventh or eighth?
I'm not saying that Ange out
Yeah.
not to an extent justified with results and stuff like that. I just saw Bournemouth go to Chelsea with 12 players missing and be minutes away from a win,
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, this is okay. So you don't have to go. You don't have to go to a team with your plan A and not adapt when you've got players missing. Who knew? And that kind of stuff makes me think like, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff makes me be like, a little bit like side-eye him.
Yeah.
You look at pragmatic. Is this the era of pragmatic teams?
This is what I was
You know,
thinking.
like if you're a little bit more pragmatic, are you going to get a little bit more bang for your buck? So all of that stuff about Ange and stuff is fair, but I think fans are entitled. Bro, we're 13th. Yeah, like we're 13th. Like I was thinking earlier in the season when we went to play Arsenal and they had Rice and Odegaard missing, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, we're definitely going to. I'm like, what happens? I'm actually like, what happened? Like 5, 6, 7 games in, I was looking, Arsenal, 2 players missing. We're going to wipe this team. They ain't got a chance against us. And now, 4 or 5 months, I know, yeah, sorry, I was wild. And now, 4 months later, 5 months later, we're in 13th, and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know. And that's I think that's where a lot of fans are. I don't know.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, you know what? The prime example of that is the man is Deji. Come on, he was speaking with his chest all them months ago, and now he's like Ange out completely, right?
Yeah, bro. Because for me, I've got high standards for our club,
Yep.
and for me, from the Brighton game is when I was worried, and I said after that game, at the rate that we're going, it's very possible that Spurs could lose 18 games this season. I remember it. I streamed it. There's the receipts for it.
Minty breath.
It's January and we've lost 10.
1-7.
Right. So for me, it was unacceptable then when I could foresee it. What's that, bro?
Don't that make you don't that make you like a bit of a fraud? Because think about it, you've got such high standards, and your club don't live
So
up to
you
them.
really feel drinks?
No,
And I'm not. It's not even a personal thing about you. It's just people who adopt that mentality of where my standards are and what I want and what I need continuously keep not getting there. And I'm just. It's like you're an abused partner in a relationship.
I was gonna say, I would say he should leave that relationship.
Yeah, like all of this having your instead of just ignoring reality and just my standards are here, and that's all that matters. Even though continuously, they're out, they're never met. I'm just here talking about it.
No, the reason why I want Ange out is because the issue for Spurs is an easy fix. Like the issue for Arsenal is an easy fix. When I look at Arsenal, and I was saying it from pre-season, I said, where are you going without a striker? Why are you bringing in Calafiori when you need a striker? So when I look at Tottenham...
1 second, because I just want to highlight some inconsistencies. So you're sending shots at our guy who's buying cauliflower, and you literally just sat on this stream and was having a huff and a puff about your own defence. And then you have the audacity to question us. We never have to question our defense. Now buying defenders is silly.
The point I'm trying to make is that's not what you need. That's not what you needed at the time.
No, but it's what you need right now. So how can you condemn it?
Let me explain Tottenham, though. So Postecoglou has shown us that squad is good enough to beat the very best. Yeah? We've beaten Liverpool with that squad. We've beaten City with that squad. We've beaten Villa with that squad. On our day, we can do it. The issue has not been the squad. The issue has been the management of that squad. Too many times we were saying, "Oh, Postecoglou, why don't you just ease off a bit?" Like Ashmatic was saying earlier, didn't he adopt or change it up for the Liverpool game? Even if he did do that, my next question to Ashmatic would be, why did it take so bloody long? This brother was telling us that he had to play Udogi and he had to play Poro because there was no one else that could come in and do a decent job. And then after these brothers get injured and Spence comes in, Spence is better than Poro and Udogi, then you're scratching your head like, so why did you wait this long? And so it's a lot of questions where I'm like, this ain't making any sense to me. Then he's the one telling us about Fraser Forster. He's not going to bring in a goalkeeper because he believes Fraser Forster's the one. We were all panicking when we knew Fraser Forster was going to be our number one for the next 3 months. And I'm so glad he's been moved out of the way because he delivered the sort of performances we expected from him. And then Timo Werner, he was saying, hi, that's his guy. And then all of a sudden threw him under the bus. So there's a lot of things that Postecoglou could have fixed. He chose not to fix it. And we're in this mess. The other thing I would say is this quickly.
Well,
Tottenham had an opportunity early in the season with our full squad to get results. We should have got a result against Leicester. We should have got a result against Brighton. Dare I say, we could have got results against Arsenal and Newcastle.
Deji, before you go, that's one of the biggest issues the team has at the moment. We didn't pick up points in games we should have picked up points.
Exactly.
So we're way lower than we should be.
Exactly.
Yeah? Just taking that into context, we should be right in the mix with the rest of the team. Sorry.
Right. But because of that, he's now under pressure. Because had he just got those results only, we're not talking about Postecoglou potentially losing his job. We're not talking about Postecoglou under pressure. We're saying, you know what? It's not been the sort of season, but we're still up there and we're in 3 competitions. But I don't give a damn how much you like a manager. 10 games in Jan is unacceptable. And if Nuno could lose his job for less, how come he hasn't lost his job? I'm not saying he should go right now, but really and truly, Tottenham could finish 15th.
is it a case of where they're realizing that, previously when they lose the fans, they're able to sack the manager. At this point, not all the fans have turned, and so they're not able to use that axe to get rid of the manager because they know the spotlight's on them if they were to do that. Do you know what I mean? There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. So maybe that's buying the manager. And also, as much as we don't want to say it, and as much as we don't like it, and as much as we will say it's excuses, I think the injuries do play a part in saving Ange at the moment. In terms of what the club are looking at, like they're looking at this as if we will look at it, or you might look at it, Dej, and say, he's created this, but the board might look at it and say, you know what, this is some unusual circumstances. We've never quite seen this before. It would be quite harsh to
Sorry, Ash. I ain't seen it before. Wasn't it the same last year?
It was the same last year, of course. But I'm just thinking, like, I'm trying to answer Deji's question.
Yeah.
How come he's still in the job and I'm trying to put one-on-one together and I'm still getting 11, but I'm trying to make sense of it myself. And then also, like you would say, Marlon, you can't get rid of him until he's out of all the cups, technically, because he needs that chance to say, you need to.
This is where I agree with Jay. Yeah,
you need to give him that rope to hang with. Like, let him kill himself. Do you know what I'm saying? Before you kill him.
Yeah, but you saying that,
I'm just saying. I know what you're saying, Flicks, but I'm saying if the board cut him now, then all the Anginas would have been, look, you didn't give him a chance. You didn't give him a chance. He was in a semi-cup final and he could have done something. He could be a lucky cup manager. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So we're sitting back and said, all right, cool. Do your thing in the cup, yeah? But no, if you don't do the thing in the cup, then you're out. So go on, Flick. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. But then I'm going to get on the Levy talk now. How many managers have worked under Levy since 2001?
Oren?
Well,
I don't think we know. No, go on. Sorry.
How many managers have worked under Levy?
17, and that includes Ange Postecoglou. 17 managers, and we've had 2 trophies in that time.
Yeah.
So don't you think like this is when we need to bring up
Where'd
the
you
Levy
get 2 from? Where's
Huh?
second trophy?
Well, Flicks, now, Flicks. I'm seen as Levy neutral, cough, and the thing about what you're saying is I completely get it, but we've been upwardly mobile as a club up until like the last 5 years, right? Up until that point, we were building, Champions League, because obviously we weren't playing Champions League. We got into Champions League. Top four became top six. That's because Spurs got better and broke into the top four. So I'm looking at this more like, yes, we could spend more, but we've also got to acknowledge as a self-sufficient club that hasn't actually made Champions League for a couple of years now. Yeah, the money we're spending, we're still spending an okay amount. We need to spend more, and we need to spend it better. I think Ange, you got to understand. For me, like Ange came into a squad which had players like Perisic, Højbjerg, Lo Celso, and Dombele. Like you can say some of these guys are trash, but there was a lot of that. I still think there was a lot of quality in that squad still. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he then said, "Nah, I don't want this guy. Don't want that guy." He's had a lot of control over the construction of the squad. And sometimes when people talk about the board giving confidence to a manager, to me it comes in different ways, and allowing him to completely construct this squad, like Lang, bringing in all these youngsters. I get it. Bergvall, Gray, Odebear. I clearly see these guys would not have signed for us without clear indications of how much they were going to play, right? Otherwise, they would have gone to another club to develop and get game time. So the club has made a conscious decision to go and buy these younger players at the expense of leaving holes in the squad. Should they have done it? Short term, no. Long term, maybe. Do you know what I mean? So when I look at it all, it's not like Levy didn't set us up to attack Liverpool with injuries and lose 6-3. Do you know what I mean? So whilst the board have some blame, Ange has some blame, the injuries has some blame. Like I don't like, to me, I don't really know. I don't know if Ange is the guy or whether these are just extenuating circumstances, like Ash said. Like who wanted Werner? Who wanted Johnson? Is it the data team? Like, I'm just like, I'm a Johnson guy, yeah, and I think that his output justifies him being in the squad, despite what anybody says. Yeah, like his output is sufficient that he's not an issue like that. But it starts to look at, like, stylistically, do you want dribblers that dribble, or do you want players that finish? Do you want people to run? Like, because it seems like you like Son, Werner, Johnson profiles. Like, I just have a lot of questions. Do you know what I mean? And not a lot of answers.
What would you not think about, obviously, Arteta's being linked with another midfielder right now? The Arsenal looking at Zubamendi. What are you man's thoughts on that? Like, anyone can jump in this one again. Pause. But
You know what? Either our PR is
Feels a little bit more than looking at.
you saying done? Is it done?
Pretty much.
No, they're saying that it's very, very, very close, isn't it? But I mean, it's planning for 6 months' time. But see me, I don't really care what's going on.
Oh, so it's not even for this
January.
window. It's for next year.
So-
So why are they talking about it now then?
Because party's
For
going.
June. It's for June, bro.
So either our PR
I'm interested in all that. I'm trying to. We need a.
Yeah, go on, say.
So either our
Yeah, go on,
PR
bro.
is very, very, very bad, or the newspapers really want to rattle us and get some clicks. That's what I think about it, because that timing, after all that's going on, how much we desperately need a forward, and all of that stuff, and how our fan base want our manager out, and then conveniently you slap him, we've made a signing, but it's not till the end of the season, and it's a midfielder. Bloody hell. Either our PR are obnoxious, our PR are stupid.
Do you know what? I got a question to ask both of you actually on that. Why has it taken so long to get a striker in under Arteta? Like, he got rid of Aubameyang and he's never ever replaced anyone up top. He's gone for Havertz, he's gone for Jesus. Pep played more on the left than he played up front. Why is it there's been strikers available? Why is he not taking that risk so far?
Yes, he tried to sign Sesko, Williams. Not Williams, he's not a striker. He tried to sign who else? He tried to sign a few. They never got him, to be honest. So they've tried, but I think he must be. He's quite particular about it. I think he wants a certain type of player or something like that to join. But I don't know, man. I can't answer that question.
Who?
I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any excuses or reasoning behind it. To be honest, I feel like one thing that annoys me about Arteta is he likes to prove. I think there's no difference to me to winning the league with a £120 million striker and winning it with a £50 million. You don't get any more brownie points. You don't get more money. You don't get. It doesn't make no difference. So, like, it's like he's trying to prove that he can win it with Havertz. But to me, I just feel like just go and get what we need. The whole world can see what we need. So I don't like that. I don't like the fact that every single person that talks about football can solve our puzzle. And I need our puzzle to be a bit more complicated than that. I'll be honest. Like I need a bit more variation to people's arguments. Every single person says, "Oh, why haven't you got a striker? Or why haven't you got a left winger?" It's too much for me.
Isn't
So
football a
I don't
simple
really know. I
game?
don't. The answer to your question, I don't actually know.
I thought
Say
football
that
was
again.
isn't football a simple game? Isn't it straightforward? Like you guys are having a finishing problem.
It is.
You just need a
That's
support.
crazy.
It is a simple
No,
game.
because no, but like, I'll be honest with you. A striker knows when to dive into those positions. Knows like the movement of a striker. I was watching Brentford today, and I was looking at Wies's movement and how much space he was creating for other players. And I'm like, when you don't have a striker, I remember when Arteta was underneath Pep, he was more or less. They weren't playing with a striker; they were doing this whole false nine. So I'm wondering if that he's
Yeah.
taken into Arsenal's ethos. Do you know what I'm saying? Saying we don't actually need a striker to get points on the board. I just feel like a striker
No,
could.
I think he thinks he know. I think he knows he needs one. I think he's been going for. I think that's what he'll be going for in January.
Do you think you'll
That's
get a
what
striker?
he'll be going.
You think you'll get a striker in January then?
I think more so at the minute. Yeah,
Hope
I'm
so.
more open to it now than I have been.
Oh, so you weren't
It's
always,
what we need.
you weren't always open to having a striker. You would have the same thought of Arteta. You don't necessarily need a forward in that position.
No, we need one. That's the main thing that we need.
Here's
No,
a question. Like,
That's the main thing we need. One.
here's a
no,
question I have to
Say that again.
ask, like before I go. Like, this is Arsenal. This is the Arsenal guys. Because it's really rare that you have this. So this is cool. Do you think Arteta have a big say over transfers? Like, do you think
Yeah, of course.
like look at the play like so if he went to the board and says right I want a striker, top striker like Ivan Toney for example or whoever, why haven't the board gone and got one for him? Like they spent 100 million Declan Rice.
I don't think he wanted. I don't think Arteta wanted even Tony or
No,
any of these
I was
guys.
just putting on the ballpark. You know what I mean? I'm just like even Tony or someone. But I'm saying like
Yeah.
if over the last 3 years, I mean the striker problem for Arsenal hasn't been just this season. Like they were, I mean last season I don't know like there was calls for like you need a proper striker. You had Jesus, but that was cool. But you needed a proper striker.
We scored more goals than we've ever scored in our entire history in the league last season.
Yes, but you still that was Zaka. Like he stayed fit most of the season, wasn't he? Who was their top goal scorer last season?
I don't even remember, but I know we scored a mate. We done.
Was it not Saka last year? Was
I,
it
I don't know, but
I
we
think-
scored
Yeah.
a bag of goals.
Because like even last season, the thing was Arsenal need a striker, like a
Yeah,
proper
that's what-
striker.
Yeah, but
So
Liverpool,
just asking, like, do you think Arteta and the board? What's the? Do you think like it's a good connection or Because I just it's just weird. Like Arsenal could have won the title with a striker, and yet the board haven't gone and got a striker.
I think Arteta probably looked at it, and I could be wrong, but he might think that it might change the way they play, the way they set up. I think Arsenal don't rely on a single player to score goals. I think it's spread across their team. So you've got Odegaard chipping in, you've got
Isn't
Saka
it?
chipping in, you've got go on.
Do you not think though this is like I personally think what's happened is Arteta wants a certain profile of a striker. Obviously, he went for Sesko in the summer, and
Yeah.
the problem that Arsenal have had over the last few years, whenever they and this goes from when they tried to sign Woodrick, whenever there's a big money signing to be made, Arsenal always Edu. They always a lot of people always used to blame Edu. Edu could never get it over the line. And I think that's the problem that they've had with the striker situation. Is probably the exact same problem where he wants a certain profile. It's going to cost a certain amount because Sesko was due to go. Everything was ready to go, but he ended up signing a new contract.
he
So
didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave yet.
yeah, and he didn't want to leave yet. So I think that's the problem that Arsenal, and he's not one of them where he'll go. So let's take Pep. He wanted Harry Kane, and they said, "Look, we can't get Harry Kane. We can give you Haaland instead." But at the time, he wasn't pleased with that. But they
Yeah,
convinced him,
spot
and
on.
he took it. That was the difference between Man City winning the league for the last 2 years and probably Arsenal winning it.
Champions League as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's missing piece.
And even Pep came out and said with Haaland, he was pleasantly surprised of how good he really was, because he wasn't the sort of profile player that he wanted at Manchester City.
I think we lost the league because of our defence, man. We lost some crucial games on a certain period of the run. I don't really think it was our strikers.
Is that why we're selling? Is that why Arteta's so like intent on buying like EMs and centre backs and left back and right back, because that's where you faltered in that part of the season?
I think it's just variety and versatility, man. And I don't know. I can't condemn him for buying defenders, because we've had to lean a lot on our defence recently with a lot of injuries. So,
Do you think he'll go that way tomorrow? Like, considering the lineups, we've gone through them. Do you think he will go defensive tomorrow as well?
we go defensive every game.
So do you think it's going to be so? Do you think the game? So realistically, are we looking at the game's going to be very similar to how it was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Yeah, because that's all we needed to do to win, man. We ain't got to do nothing spectacular.
Are you more interested? All right, so are you more interested in just getting a W, other than winning like in a certain style? Because I know I'm used to Arsenal, like growing up playing with a bit of something. Do you know what I'm saying? But are you not happy now? Like, forget style. You've done the style thing. You've done the attacking thing. You just want the W. So it doesn't matter how you beat Spurs, as long as you beat Spurs and you're happy with that.
Yeah, man, I've had too much Wenger, man. I remember scorpion kicks, I remember tiki-taka goals and all of that, and it led to nothing, man. I'm tired of that, man. I've been called naive, weak. If you give it up, Arsenal, they'll have it. They got no cojones. I'm tired of that narrative, man. I like this new one. I like the Stoke FC. When Stoke used to beat us and break our legs and stuff like that, it used to hurt me. Do you know what I mean? I like this. I like that we're solid. I like that for the whole year we haven't conceded more than 2 goals. I like that. I'm a centre back myself. I could have chose to be a striker, but nah.
Definitely a centre back. Hey, we say D, the same as well. You over the whole attacking thing. You're just happy with. It doesn't matter how you get it. You just
Yeah, but I'm probably a little bit more.
As a fan.
Yeah, similar, but a bit more passionate and emotional than a little bit more than that. Because to me, I'm getting irritated. I just buy a damn striker. I'm at that stage now. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 games we had in the last week, we should have been won both games if we had a striker. A normal striker, they're not gonna. Even if we had a Chris Wood, for example, those chances he was gonna score one of them at least.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying? So
it's a striker.
we need a guy. We lost to Newcastle because Isaac had instinct in the box. It wasn't like he created chances.
Yeah.
He just had instinct in the box and just knew where to be.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So
Yeah, but then if we did
and that's what the game's about. It's about goals.
they'd complain that you're not entertaining the neutral, man. You're just banking on your striker to take a chance.
Yeah. But that
You
comes
know,
with it. But as long as you win the league, that
Yeah,
comes
but
with it.
I think
That's what
Isaac could go to anyone's team. There's not a team in this league that couldn't take Isaac and he'd make a difference, man.
Right, guys, I have to go.
You got.
Hopefully you all enjoy the Arsenal match tomorrow on the way well, and I'll speak to everyone or Marlon and Haas on Tuesday. Have a good rest of the night, guys. Nice meeting everyone as well.
Big up.
you as well, brother.
Jay, I got a question for you, right? On the back of what they just said, right? The Arsenal boys. Would you prefer to be in our shoes tomorrow, or Arsenal's, where you know we're going to play attacking football, or would you rather go in?
I was gonna say we're 13th. Clown shoes. That's asking what shoes I would have been.
But they're probably gonna go quite, as Faye said, they're gonna go quite defensive, or probably be quite solid and defensive. And at the moment the fans are complaining because I think their goal per game is quite similar to how it was 3-4 years ago. But we know exactly how Andrew's going to go into this game. Whose shoes would you rather be in tomorrow? Forget the positions.
Going into tomorrow's game, I'd rather be in Spurs' shoes, because Arsenal are in a very unique situation where they're going into this game on the back of 2 home defeats. So, from a strategy point of view, the best course of action could be to give Spurs the ball and counter them, set pieces, just be solid. Do you know what I mean? Just be solid, get your win, move on. The crowd, off the back of two home defeats, might make it difficult for them to implement that specific game plan without getting restless. Do you see what I mean?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
the logic that would get them the fastest and easiest result. I look at the games we've played against Arsenal 2-2. They beat us 3-2. They beat us 1-0. Tight games. Tighter games
Yeah.
than the narrative would have you say. Do you know what I mean? So
Fact. That's a fact.
Do you think though? Do you think Ange? So I've talked about adaptation and tweaks and whatnot. Do you think Ange would have or would adapt if there were certain players in our pitch in terms of like Van der Ven and Romero, or do you think he would do the high line and be more aggressive and be more front-footed?
I think what we're seeing from Ange, what's happened to the team, it will help make him a better manager.
Do you think he's learning? Do you think he's learning then? Do you
Oh
think
yeah, definitely. He has to be learning because I think it's almost like I don't know if you guys ever remember like being like the smartest person in primary school and then going to high school and then realizing there's bare intelligent people and like what the fuck, like what the fuck?
What's that
That's what I
school
feel
then?
like I'm just going to the Premier League's been like. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like oh my god, like this is what I'll do. This is like there's so many smart guys, and when you have that, you have to learn that like I know on the outside because he's got hubris and bravado. He's always going to be it's my way. It's who we are, mate. But the changes have always they've been happening. He's adapting. He's tweaking it. But he's not going to let because as soon as you give a chink to the if you pardon the pun, chinks to the naysayers and the people on the side who are saying, hey, like look at this guy. He's a flip flop. He doesn't believe what he said. 3 months ago, he said this. He can't say that especially with a fan base that's ravenous and is just ready to, jump on anything and anyone.
Wait, just on that, pause here. Just on that, do you think people read too much into what managers say at the press conferences?
100%.
And like,
yes and no.
or is it a chance for the manager to get across his message?
That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes there's messages the manager's giving you about the situation, subtle messages, things like that. Sometimes we're just a bunch of weirdos on the internet reading too much into comments that don't mean anything. It's what's it? You're either uninformed or ill-informed, and I think words like I like to think I have nuance and I understand tone of voice and intent. Some people don't. Some people will take things at face value. Some people will take it with a pinch of salt. So
the reason why I asked that is because Ange Postecoglou has come out and he's actually said, Ange Postecoglou on approach to defending, you don't want to hear my explanation. You'd rather hear that I don't like defending. We're open. That we have a ridiculous high line. That we've got torn apart in every game. That's the narrative. That's what he said to.
I will say that's very spicy talk for 13th in the league. Like I will say that's a hell of a cunty walk for somebody who's 13th. Do you know what I mean? But that's our gaffer.
This
I
was
like
for North London Derby as well.
And no, but you got to respect it as well, though.
Exactly.
Like, that's why I kind of like him because it's like you're looking for the worst thing possible, the worst way to take what I say anyway, and use it against me. But then you're gonna ask me to do that politely. Like, do you think I'm that stupid? You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna give you what you want off the rip. And making sure everybody likes an easy day at work. So there you go. Like, why not? And I respect that.
Yeah. Well, does anyone expect him to set up like differently? Like, does anyone expect him to do the whole now off the back of what he's just said? Does any like do you because like D, when I spoke to you earlier, you thought, am I wrong by saying this? But you thought we were going to do the whole gun ho approach. We're going to be like a bit more chaotic. Do you think now after those comments, do you think like Ange will be a bit more reserved with his team coming into the Emirates?
I don't think he knows how to. I don't think he's figured. I think that comes with a bit more experience in the league. I feel like in the league he's starting to become a bit more
He's played 18 months
adapting
though.
bit by bit. Say that again.
He's had 18 months though, so you don't think he's learnt by now, or you still think he's still got some learning to do?
He's had 18 months, but he's had 18 months in the league. But you have to remember, at the beginning of the one thing I said about Andrews, he's not very good at controlling the media. Because at the beginning, when he started and he was doing what he was doing and attacking and everything, like I don't know any manager that's get praised because you got 9 men, you attack but you lose 4-1. I've never known you get praised for losing 4-1. That's the first time I'd ever seen that. So he was the one that was creating this narrative that you have to attack no matter what. And unfortunately, he's put himself into a hole where if you do now start defending, you then are basically going against your principles in theory. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I feel like that was just a little bit of inexperience with the English media, because the English media, they don't forget anything and they're not here for you. They're only here to get you their headlines. That's
Very
the
true.
English media. So I just feel like that was a bit of a. So I don't know if he's even going to be allowed to not attack. As soon as he has a game where he doesn't attack with 10 men or has a little bit of a low block or sits back for a bit.
So let me ask. Yeah, sorry, Karen, finish. Go on.
No, go on.
No, I was going to ask. So like, obviously, managers have phases, isn't it? Like, is a business, you know what a business? You start with an introductory phase, then you go through a growth period, and then you go through like that kind of peak. You know what I'm saying? What phase do you guys think? Anyone can answer this in the panel. What phase is Ange in? That's what I want to know. Like, where should we expect Ange
He's
to
in
be?
phase one. Andrew's in big phase one. Like everyone, what they do, they like to attribute phases to years. So people will say you're in phase one, phase two, phase three, based on how many years you've been there. How can Andrew is in the first phase of his Tottenham career? This is the first time he's coming. He came in after two defensive managers, or three, even maybe even three defensive managers. If you was to sit down and talk to Ange before he even got into Tottenham, he would say, "Listen, the way I need to play." He's trying to play high lines with players he doesn't even want to play with. He's trying to get an ethos immediately and to show the fans, listen, this is the way I'm going to play. The same thing that Pep Guardiola did at Man City. The only difference is Guardiola can have a hire and fire policy with his players. Ange hasn't got that luxury. So Ange has come in and he's got to play a high line with all these players that he's not meant to be playing it with, but he has to stamp his authority on the team
So
immediately.
all right. So shouldn't if he adapted, knowing that he hasn't got the players at his disposal, and he knows the club that he's at where you don't have players on tap like Pep did at Man City, where he can
Right,
literally.
right. That's the $1 million question, because, like I said, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Liverpool are building clubs. I think if you're a building club, you probably get a little bit more. For me personally, you get a little bit more leeway to kind of get your team together and work it out and get a few transfer windows to get it together. If you're a spending club like Chelsea that spend 750 million in two transfer windows or one transfer window, you don't get no time. You don't get no luxury. Spending bypasses the process to me.
So
That's
what?
how it is to me.
All right. So okay. So if I flip the question, I ask about Arteta. What phase is he in
Yeah.
at the moment? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have to reverse that question.
I would say Arteta, if I'm going to do it, because like I said, I don't attribute it to
No,
years. I
yes,
attribute it
yeah.
to
No, I
actual
respect your
play.
opinion for that. Yeah, go on. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. I would say Arteta is in, I would say, phase three, potentially. The beginning of phase three, I would say. He came in, he won the title with the FA Cup and stuff, and he's changing over the team. That's
Mm.
phase one, where you're getting your few players in. The next step was getting like a few of the, like getting Saka to become who he is and getting Odegaard, because Odegaard came on loan. People forget that half the fan base didn't even want Odegaard when he came on loan, and then he went back to Real Madrid. The whole fan base were like, "We don't want Odegaard, we want Madison." People forget all that stuff. That Odegaard, Arteta decided, that's who I want. People forget all of that. The whole fan base were up in arms about buying Odegaard. All of a sudden, you get him for 35 million. It becomes a steal, and everyone forgets about where they thought, because you see on streaming and our opinions, we talk, and then the videos that we said goes into the path, and is lost on YouTube 2 years ago.
Mm.
But
Mm.
Arteta has to deal with actually still having Odegaard. So I feel like I would say he's the beginning of phase three, if I'm being totally honest. Because a new phase doesn't also start because you sack a manager either. So this
Mm.
Tottenham are in phase, not Tottenham, sorry,
Oh,
Chelsea are in phase one business. That's
mm.
nonsense to me. If you spend £1 billion or 1.6 billion, you don't get no phases.
D, I got a question for you though, because you said about you spoke about Ange there and saying what phase he's in, but a lot of Spurs fans would argue and go, Areola's had the same amount of time as Ange. They've been at the same club, but Bournemouth are going that way and Spurs are going that way.
I don't think Spurs are going that way though. That's what I'm saying. Depending on if, for example, Spurs say win the Europa League, would you still say he's gone down?
No, I wouldn't. That'd be that if he wins a cup, then no, because obviously that's probably what the second best any Spurs manager's done since Poch.
That's what I'm saying. And for Ange, he's got to make a decision here right now. He's got to make a decision here to say, am I going to focus on these cups right now? I'm in the semi-final of one. I've just beaten Liverpool. I'm doing well in the Europa League. He's got to make a decision as a manager. He's got to say, is my focus really? Because very likely, not likely, you're going to get top 4. You can still get top 8. Still get top 7. So he's got to make a decision as a manager. Like, and
there's a lot of teams, but there's a lot of teams that got to fall off as well for us to even make top 8. Like you're talking about Bournemouth, Bournemouth, Brighton, and them teams falling off. Newcastle falling off.
Nottingham Forest
falling off.
But you guys have had. But you got to be honest about it. You guys have had your injuries. Your team is decimated. Like we've got. I'm an Arsenal fan and I hate Tottenham. You get me? But if I'm looking at it objectively, you don't even have. You got your whole back line is out. Ange's playing. Ange's having playing, and he's beating Liverpool with Archie. He beat Man City 4-0 with Dragusin and that.
Mm.
Yeah, but then he also drew with Tamworth 0-0 part timers with the exact same.
But that's what But he did. But he still got through the game. Still got through the game, bro.
Yeah, but
he didn't lose
like that, man.
I just like that. Can we go back to that phase 3 that Arteta is not like. Explain what that phase 3 means, because like I want to know, like I don't know, phase 3 where does like come in, like winning stuff, where does that come into your thoughts?
You're cheeky, Ash. When does the phase where you win kick in?
No, he's right. He's right.
I'm being
he is right.
Say it straight, man. Stop beating around the bush. Arsenal. When's the phase?
Call a spade. Go on. When in Rome, wear a toga. What do you want to ask, Ash? When are you going to win a damn trophy?
No. Sometimes I talk too techie, and I need to keep it simple, innit? You get me? So
he's right. He's right, fam. That's the question that man I gotta ask. But you gotta remember, when people talking about that, if we're talking about the phases that we're talking about now, that I've just discussed, he's at the stage now where we were competing for the title early. No one expected us to compete for the title 2 years ago. He's done it 2 years in a row. Not only that as well, he won a FA Cup at the very beginning. So it's a bit disjointed, our phases and our titles. But now you're at the stage now where it's time to start competing and winning, bro. That's where we're at right now. And he believes that. Don't think Arteta doesn't believe that. He does. We're at the stage now. If we get a striker and a left winger, we're getting Zubamendi, hopefully. You're looking at the team like for the next couple of years, you guys will be up there for the next 4, 5, 6 years, guaranteed.
So you think, like, obviously, because a lot of fans think that because City's there, you can't win. I'm not talking about Arsenal in like... But there's a narrative going around that because Pep's here, it just can't win anything. You see what I'm trying to say?
It's not a narrative. He's won 7 of the last 8, bro.
Oh, yeah. So, but obviously now, Pep's obviously fallen off this season, but he'll be back next season. Do you think, in spite of that...
City ain't that far apart, mate. City can still do this.
Yeah.
When Liverpool have dropped points tonight.
So did you stop watching City when they were still winning? You know City drew.
Yeah, I know they drew, but don't get it twisted. City are City, and there's going to be a point.
I was watching that City game against Brentford.
Now, Brentford landed some punches on them.
Brentford were moving.
Everyone always lands punches on them.
Wisa was on stuff. I'm letting man know, like Wisa's movement.
Yeah, but Brentford ain't shit, bro. They can do that to any of us. They could do that to anyone. on their day. That's
Facts.
what happens with football, man.
Liverpool got Brentford away next
And you
week.
know what? You see what it is, yeah? When you have a theory, yeah? Because say, for
Not even
example,
next week, Saturday. Sorry.
you see this processes thing, yeah? Because then now you have to magically be in stage 5 of the process and then you win trophies. Like, that's not guaranteed to know. You could be in phase 10. That don't guarantee you shit. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Because what phase are Man U in? They've won cup last season and the season before, and they damn sure ain't in a phase past us. Like, do you get what I mean? So nothing's guaranteed like that.
I feel like the phases of demand on what you expect, though, innit? Like if you're in phase 3, you can start your expectations change for what you want at the end of the season. So you might in phase 1, you might be like, if a Man City, they might not Man City. So phase 1, you might be like, okay, you can win a Carling Cup and an FA Cup and stuff like that. If you're in phase 3, phase 4, you want to start competing for the league and Champions League latter stages. You know what I'm saying? But we have been doing that, but Arsenal fans will say, I only want the league and the Champions League. And I will be like, that means at the beginning of the season, you're giving away 2 trophies. That's what it means. You want to compete for 2 trophies out of 4. And one of them we've never won in our history. And you're giving Arteta, we've never won the league in 20 years. Arteta's been here for 5 years. It's his very first job. He's not just here for 5 years. He's only been managing for 5 years. So a lot of them, you know, like when you got a player that's young, and you want to give him experience, a lot of the time you'll give Ranieri experience. If he gets to like 23 and then you sell him, you'll get upset, innit? We don't want to be giving Arteta experience, all this experience for him to go to another club. Because if he leaves Arsenal, he will go to one of the top clubs in the world. That's where he's going. And you want to give him all the experience at our club, so you learn on the job like an apprentice, and then when you get to the top, you want to go to another club. What's going on there? You don't do that. We got killed for selling these players for years when they're in their peak. What's the point of selling Arteta in his peak? Does that make sense?
I hear it, man. I don't know. Like, obviously, you guys are different, but do you think?
I got a question for both of them though. A serious question. If Carlo Ancelotti became available tomorrow, would you take him over Arteta?
No.
No way.
Why not?
He's a winner.
He's a winner.
I don't think it's
because I've still got faith in Arteta. I don't need to. I've got faith in. I've got faith in Arteta. I don't need to change. That's like certain things that you have. You got. You know what I mean? If I'm going to put that before I get myself in trouble, but you know.
Is this
Sorry, D, this is like new to people.
Or are you guys a minority in thinking? It's the majority of Arsenal fans that think like you lot.
More so outside of... No, I don't want to say it's the majority. I would say it's probably 50-50. Definitely not the majority.
I hope not. I hate being the
But
majority. The majority is usually wrong.
Yeah.
I hate.
If you go to games and you talk to people day to day, a lot of... say that again?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Match going fans. How is it like? Is it?
I don't care about match going.
Yeah, a lot of them. You'll have a lot of conversations like this with them. Like a lot of them, because a lot of them that go there have seen the dark days. Do you know what I'm saying? These guys are traveling all over the world and spending their hard-earned cash. When you go to games, you realize you believe again. You're going there believing we can beat any team in the world. Like, I don't go to any match thinking we can't win. Alone.
So do you think that? So with the Arsenal fans right now, and this may be, and Jay could probably answer this for the Spurs fans. Do you think the YouTubers and social media seem to have the loudest voices, but actually the majority, when you actually go talk to,
that's what I'm saying,
people away from this medium and social media, actually,
bro, without a shadow of a doubt, the question I ask people, I'll just ask this one. Let me just say this one question: is, do you think Arteta's doing a good job? And then people will say, yeah, he's done a good job at Arsenal, yeah. So you would sack a manager doing a good job. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It depends on what you're... It all depends. So for me, it all depends on what, for you as a football club, what you're looking for. Now, for a lot of our Spurs fans, the situation we see Arsenal in right now is where we were with Poch. And you lot were taking the right mick out of us for the way we were finishing second and third.
But you lot should, if you used to ask Daniel Levy to go back to that time, he probably would have kept Poch now.
Yeah, but so would Spurs fans. So would Spurs fans. But obviously, there was a lot going around that everyone the media kept throwing that we needed a trophy, we needed a trophy, right? So Daniel Levy took the bait, the fans took the bait.
He panicked. Yeah, he panicked.
Everyone, and the Amazon documentary didn't help. That was a big thing at the time. Right, but if I'm looking at right now what Arteta's doing, right, compared to what I grew up with Arsenal doing, I'd say he's doing okay.
Mm.
I wouldn't say he's doing anything fantastic. I'd say he's doing okay. That's me as a Spurs
No.
fan.
But you're judging it based on Arsenal of the past. Judge it on based on before Arteta came in to what he took over. When he came in, we were a complete and utter mess.
But do you know what? For
Yeah,
me, it's how I see Arteta, he's the guy before the guy. He's the one to get you stabilized, and I feel like there's someone else who should be taking you guys to the next step.
I know, but hold on. Why? Because I love that. That's perfectly. That's what I was waiting for. Because you lined them up so perfectly. So there's Brendan Rodgers or there's Poch. So you're honestly telling me that you think you know for a fact that Arteta is Brendan and not Poch.
I think Brendan and Poch are the same guy.
Well, whoever forwarded after Brendan won clearly is why they talk about Brendan. And whoever came in after Poch didn't, and then we all wish we could get Poch back.
But the one difference between you and those two managers is one can make Poch lost players, Rodgers lost players, Arteta lost Xhaka and kept the team kind of stable. So I look at that as a positive, like in Arteta's column versus these other managers. I think
sorry to cut you, Jay. Sorry to cut you, yeah. But a lot of things that people that don't factor in is that when we were going for the league the very first time 2 years ago, we were the youngest team in the league. That's what people don't factor in. So it was only Southampton that were near us in terms of age profile. We peaked early, maybe not peaked, but we started becoming grown up early. Saka was 21, 22 years old. Odegaard was 23. Saliba and Gabriel are both. Gabriel's 25 or so. Saliba's 22, 23. These men are still kids. We're challenging with children. Man City, they were winning the league. These guys are 28, 29 years old. So no one's factoring that in because we've challenged for the title. But if you actually look at it objectively and look at what the team is and who's actually playing, you've got Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka. The highest is 24.
But most people would say, though, right, if you look at the Arsenal situation, forget the league right now, because obviously, yes, you're right. Pep Guardiola was winning the league outright. But if you look at your cup performances under Arteta, they've fallen off. Your FA Cup record after you've won it, you look at the teams, like you've literally just fallen out of them and without doing anything. League Cups, okay, yeah, Arsenal fans don't want it, but you've whimpered in that.
I won it, by the way.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But if I'll give you the league, but the cup performances, you might slate Wenger, but Wenger made sure if you weren't doing well in the league, those cups would be on point.
That's a good point.
And I think that comes with experience. I think that also, like I said before, when I say we always talk about Arteta's been there for 5 years, but instead of saying he's been there for 5 years, he's only been managing 5 years. That comes with experience to know that you need to be winning along the way to not get into this rut. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
but do you think he'll ever
start lasting longer?
Yeah, but would you think he'll ever get the experience? Like the way things are going, will he ever be able to get that experience? Because all he knows right now is, as most people outside Arsenal, he just knows how to bottle. He doesn't know how to actually go to that next step.
No, that's crazy.
But he's gaining experience. He's gaining experience as we talk now. Fair enough. He hasn't. I can't cast him as a successful coach right now. But like I said before, you don't want someone to gain experience at your team and then peak somewhere else. That's not what football's about. We did that for years. Had people like all the top players. The Van Persie came good, then he goes and becomes brilliant somewhere else. This player comes good and we sell him there. We've done that. That's what Arsenal's based on, selling our players when they become their peak. I'm done with doing that. Arteta, if he gains experience here, and I still believe that he believes, I'm going to stick with it until I believe I lose complete and utter faith in him. I don't want you... Because if he leaves Arsenal, he's going to a top team around the world. Mm-hmm. He's not going down. He's going up.
But and you know what as well, yeah. Just think about it, yeah. Now that look, we got Saka missing. We're the worst team in the world. Like, do you know what I mean? As everybody says, we're not doing well. We're knocked out of 2 cups in no time. We're bottle jobs. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And he can never make it. So when you think about it, when people like to judge us when we're up here and when we're down there, and what tends to happen is it kind of levels out, innit? So barring Saka and maybe Odegaard and our two, like Saliba and Gabriel can be good, but barring that, like, you can see a lot of where we are is down to his coaching. Like, remove his coaching from a lot of these players and they don't look as good as they do in as terms of in other places they've been at and some of them they've only really looked good at Arsenal, so we don't know that. But I'd rather base you on what I've seen you do than what I ain't seen you do, because I just think that's common sense. So I think a lot of where we are is due to his coaching.
Yeah, we're not taking that away from him.
No, but do you know what I mean? So
I respect that. But
cool, he has not got over the line, and there might be a player here or there who might not do that. But I think it's just more stupid and risky to remove his coaching, because I don't see these players necessarily flying to some ultimate magic level without him being there and turning into world beaters that can do everything. Like, do you get what I mean? So removing him just doesn't make sense, because where we are is because of him.
just to flip it though, real quick, because it is Tottenham Arsenal, isn't it? Arsenal Tottenham, sorry. But you spoke a lot about coaching. What do you lot make of Ange? Because he's not technically a coach. Do you think he's a person that could improve players over a course of time and get Spurs in like past the rut that we're in, where we start winning consistent games because he starts elevating players' performances? That was the argument I heard you saying about, Arteta's a good coach and this and that. But what can Ange Postecoglou do? Can he improve his managing? Can he improve players? Like, do you know what I mean? Is there any room for him to grow in that sense?
Definitely.
Yeah, cause I don't watch you lot as much as I watch Arsenal. I don't listen to as much podcasts about Spurs. I don't have the time or the care or concern to want to be that in depth with what you do to make a critical decision on it. So I'm only watching from a limited perspective, with only dipping my head in the hair and now, like, do you know what I mean? But me personally, I think he's a good manager. I like, from what I've seen of him, I like the way he gets you lot to play and attacking and stuff like that. I like the style of play. Is it feasible and sufficient? I don't know. But from what he's done with the team, and I know it's looking bad, everybody has their rocky periods and stuff like that. But I see him possibly being able to do well with you guys. The style of play, if he can pull it off, is a very successful style of play, and it's a very audacious style of play. And I think audacity is kind of rewarded. If you've got balls to try things, you're gonna get it right once or twice. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think he has the capabilities. Will he do it? Like, Diaby was meant to be our Vieira. Do you know what I mean? So will he see it through? I don't know entirely, but I think you're more safer with him than some magical guy you don't know who's automatically going to come in and fix all your problems, who the previous other 16 or 17 managers haven't. Just because of some people whose imaginary standards, that just doesn't make sense to me.
What do you think, man? Do you think has he improved players, and will he continue to improve players if he's given the time?
Yeah, I think he will, man. I think he will. Like, even the little things that he's done, he's getting gems. I know Van der Ven's injury prone, but he's getting little gems that I'm looking at, feeling like, do you know what I mean? You got to look at what he's actually, like, what's actually going on. The only reason why he looks naive in terms of tactical, because in the Premier League, everyone or every manager, the top managers in the world will take a lower Premier League team just to get in the Premier League. So every manager is of the highest level. Even you got Crystal, like every team from especially up to like the relegation zone, they're all brilliant. Maresca gets promoted with Leicester, he goes to Chelsea. Vincent Kompany gets relegated, goes Bayern Munich. The whole Premier League level of managers is at the highest level that you can get in around the world. So Ange has got to deal with every game is a chess match. Do you know what I'm saying? It's all a chess match. It's all a game. Every single game is like a cup final. It's all intense every single time. People want him to, because he's a Tottenham manager, just to blitz everyone. It's not going to work like that. You got to give him time to figure it out and work it out, and of course he can improve players, man.
Yeah, but I get that. But on the flip side, one can say obviously progression isn't linear, so it doesn't necessarily have to just go directly up. I'm not that naive, and obviously with the increased workloads and obviously with injuries, I've already kind of talked myself out of the original point I was going to make here. So the point I'm going to contend with is that Spurs, I think, have only lost one game this season by more than one goal. I think.
Correct.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
So, which is a crazy statistic, which means that we're in most games that we play, and some games the margin's not gone for us. And for me, I can't objectively say like what Spurs are, but I know that we can play good football and we're very capable of playing good games. And like obviously for me, it's kind of like we can continue to go down this path of buying good young players who can fit into a progressive, forward-thinking play, even if Ange isn't here or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, the project can go forward, whether or not Ange is the one to lead it long term. But I think 13th is outrageous. Like it's outrageous. Again,
Yeah,
You
I'm
know
not
what, bro?
I'm not gonna normalize 13th.
but
Like
Jay, I have to give you another speaking
I'm not trying to say I have such high standards, but I'm also not normalizing 13th and
Yeah.
being like this is part of the. I had us finishing between 4th and 6th max. To be 13th.
Yeah, but but Jay, let
What-
me
before you
jump
go-
in there. Yeah, you're saying 13th is outrageous. Yeah, so you're basically not you personally, but if that's the case, 13th is outrageous. You would say, okay, let's imagine you say you sack Ange because 13th is outrageous. The same scenario would be Arsenal are second. We finished second for the last couple of years, and people say, yeah, sack him as well. So you get the same outcome, but two different, completely
Yeah,
different standards.
I'm not necessarily saying Anges should be sacked. I've always maintained he gets the season no matter what. But I'm also like 13th is outrageous. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, as in,
Outrageous.
I'm
It is.
just contextually saying this is crazy, and losing certain games. I appreciate the Premier League's gone up in difficulty. I appreciate it's a more competitive league. That doesn't mean that like Ange keeps his job.
Bro,
Not
you've got half a team. You've got half a team.
No, but
yeah,
hold
but
on, let me make. Can I?
You can't expect to be beating teams consistently in the Premier League with Archie Gray at centre back.
of course, and and that's context, and that's why it's not for me. It's Ange's fault. There's games where I would have liked us to adapt our approach, and I think that would have led to more positive results. I'm not sure how he's used the squad, but again, I don't think none of the things I'm saying. I think without the massive injury list are just sackable. Do you know what I mean? They're just queries and irritations and question marks I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
about the manager, and I need time for it to play
Yeah,
out. But all of
because
this
yeah,
now,
yeah,
to
yeah.
me, now says, okay, it's immediately when the players are back, the bar for results is so high for Ange straight away. Do you know what I mean? It's not, there's no, oh, we can afford, it's just straight away, we got to be winning games. We got to, because if the narrative is we've lost games because players have been missing, the narrative also has to be the form has to dramatically improve when these players return.
And when you look at Spurs' form before these players left, we'd already lost 5 games this season. So it's not like this is like anything new. Like the 5 we'd already lost, like with Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, and Udogie, 5 games, and we're only in October, was not good enough. Now, like a weird stat that's like really weird is that our away record is terrible. We won 3 games away, but we have the best defensive record away from home. Like, make it make sense to us Spurs fans, because he's a very attacking manager, but yet away from home, we've only conceded 9. So you can see where our problems lie.
And I would argue the last 3 games: Forest away, Newcastle at home, and Liverpool. Was it Liverpool in the cup?
Liverpool in the cup, yeah.
Yeah, those 3 performances have actually been like pretty close to what we need to be doing. Like, do you know what I mean? While Forest, we weren't that creative, we were solid enough. And like against Newcastle, we could have done more. Against Liverpool, we won. So, like, the performances, but it's just we're coming from like pause, but we're coming from so far back, and it's like there's so like we're almost at the point where we have to write the league off, because the amount of points we are behind, we basically need to start a run yesterday, to start climbing up the league. And it's like, like I said, I really, and I don't want to sound like, oh, we must do this, or I just, it does feel, I'm not deflated, but you can feel the fans when we have a league game now. It's very, do you know what I mean? Like, the fans don't really know what to do with themselves. It's like they don't really, they almost know that the league results have no bearing on the manager's job at this stage. And credit to the club for backing the manager and saying that. And obviously we need more players, but I think when you do the summer window that Spurs did, when you buy players like Bergvall and Archie Gray and Odebear and stuff, you've got to understand the risk profile of buying those kind of players
Mm.
and the flip side, and you have to be willing to go with your choice, and that means you have to sustain and go with the manager who accepted those players instead of more established players who
Mm-hmm.
might have been more expensive, who might have cost more wages.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's your manager who's done that, you have to support them in this moment when the results have downturned.
Look, I was going to say, look, as bad as it sounds, I'm going to keep it real simple. Football is a results business, let's face it. And I think with Arteta, he was fortunate enough, in my opinion, that he went through that kind of COVID season where there was no fans in the stadium. You know what I'm saying? Everyone was at home. And you lot were allowed to have that kind of fluctuation where it didn't go
The up
too
and down,
well.
yeah. Because
But still finished like 8th. Do you know what I mean? We're current. I don't know how bad it got for you guys. Did you lot ever sink to 13th or get in a position where you possibly could finish 14th, 15th in the league? Was there any
Maybe
period?
not finished. Maybe not finished there at the end of the season, but we were definitely floating around those areas, man.
Was you like? What was
We had
your
one
worst
of the we
position?
had
Do
one
you
of the
remember?
worst starts. We had one of the worst starts we've ever had. We had all this lost to Brentford, and we had
Yeah,
one of the worst starts in the history
What
of
was your
Arsenal.
position? Your worst position? Do you remember? Was it 11th?
20th.
yeah, we've been 20th for like week 2 and 3
Yeah,
before.
remember,
we were
Yeah.
remember we
bottom
was
half.
That's the
top.
start. I'm talking about. We're in mid-Jan. You know what I'm saying? We're in mid-Jan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
just not
madness.
fair.
Where you
It's
lot
not
are?
fair.
Where
It's not fair to beat you lot with a stick of where we were playing and who we were playing against and the level of the league. And as Dee said earlier, everybody is serious. They knows what they're doing. This is like a very competitive league. Anyone can beat anyone. Nottingham Forest just gave a good game up against Liverpool. Like, do you know what I mean? So comparing your period now to our period back then, when there's so much more money involved and stuff like that, is mad. And the only thing is, yeah, because I think your point aligns with, where is it? This checkmate guys, yeah. He said, don't trust what these Arsenal man them are saying. When they were in 8th during lockdown, they were frothing at the mouth, they were livid. Do you get what I mean? And he's saying that in response to us saying that we think Angie's good, clearly. So if we would have had this opinion back then when we were livid about Arteta, and Arteta's still here now, he's got us challenged to 2 leagues, got us as one of the best teams in the world, got players going to Ballon d'Or nominations and stuff like that. That just proves how much of idiots we were back then, no? Do you get what I mean?
exactly.
Because the best thing to do was to actually stick with him. So the proof's in the pudding. You're using an older, more stupid version of myself to beat me with my point of where I'm at now, to justify you being my old stupid self back then. Just shows how stupid you are in your current feeling and emotion at the moment. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. What you say? You remember when you were your old stupid self? You remember like you always saw Arteta in, right? You still believed in the process.
But I know there was a moment. I always say this. I always say this, and I have to big up my brethren preach, because I was used to as Marlon says, winning leagues and doubles and stuff like that. That was when life was rosy, and I just thought, yeah, we're Arsenal, man. We just win all the time. And then hold on, I'm like, hold on, whoa, we ain't running a while. What's going on? Who are these guys? I don't know what's going on. And then life hits me, and then I thought, hold on, nah, raw. And my mate Liverpool, and then we got we started winning a few games. I was like, oh, we're gonna win the league, we're gonna do this. He was like, nah, bro, ain't you realize like football works in cycles? Don't put too much pressure on people. You just let happen and let be what let be. Do you know what I mean? So someone had to pull me back from my stupid self and realize that as much as people want to judge you by your establishment and your whole entire history as a club, you're only as good as 11 blokes on the pitch on that particular day.
Mm.
Do you get what I mean? So
I hear it. I hear it.
So shall we let's get this to the big one. Let's get to predictions for tomorrow. Yeah, because it's key. And FaZe, I hope you're on the rival show tomorrow if you do lose. I want to see you there.
I've met my quota this week for Spurs TV today.
Now we're paying you double. D, I'll go over you first. What you expecting tomorrow and what result?
Yeah, give us some context, go on.
Not looking forward to it. The only good thing about it is that we've got our defense. I'll be more worried about if we didn't have our defense than more so than our attack. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it need a solid base. But I predicted us narrow wins against Newcastle and Man United, and we fluffed our lines. So I can't even be going into this game predicting us to have a narrow win because I just don't have that much faith in the team. In terms of we'll create some chances, but like even our corners that everyone like not just set piece FC, which is actually kind of true. We're playing for corners. Even those, now that Saka's out and Rice hasn't been starting, even they've gone. Like, where have they gone? Where have they gone? We're not even looking dangerous from corners no more because Odegaard can't even take corners. Odegaard, he's a good player, but he can't shoot. He can't take corners. He takes free kicks. I'm like, what's going on? Every time he takes a free kick, I'm like, why are you taking the free kick? Just let someone else try something. So a lot of decisions at the minute are a bit weird to me. Like, because Odegaard can't take corners, neither can Trossard, neither can Martinelli. So I'm not so confident tomorrow, I'll be real. Like, I'm going to say narrow win just because I feel like we can get a narrow win, but it's with no confidence, fam.
So you just spoke all chest about how good Arteta is, and then come with a narrow win and you're not confident. Come on.
That's nothing. That's like, wait till you hear my one. Wait till you hear my one.
Nah, true.
Go on, Pace. Yeah, go on.
I'm going 2-1 Spurs. I'm going 2-1 Spurs.
Shameless.
I'm going 2-1 Spurs. I hate it. Every time I do predictions, I hate predictions. I think they're stupid. And every time I predict Arsenal to win, we lose. I'm going 2-1 Spurs.
On a serious level, where do you think the game's going to be won and lost tomorrow?
In each box.
You know, as soon as that came out my mouth, I should know better. I've been watching the rivals long enough to know what answer I'm going to get.
Oh, my issue. My issue is with tomorrow is
God,
I really see Havertz scoring.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
I really see Havertz.
Yeah,
scoring.
you're trying to do that. You're trying to do that.
One of these to
I
the
can see
crowd.
Solanke scoring a hat trick. I can see Solanke scoring a hat trick. Wicked. We can all do that where you put that little jinx on. Yeah, I can see Solanke scoring a hat trick, man. Wicked.
Nah.
That's
No,
good. Jay was being genuine. Jay was actually being genuine. He was actually being genuine. That was so necessary.
Because I wasn't jinxing it. I was like, in the last 2 games, Havertz has missed good chances and Arsenal have lost the game. So I just feel like that kind of karmatic fate, like that he scores and you get the old it was in a difficult spot, but and from my point of view, yeah, like this game, Arsenal, even in the last couple of games, they've still started pretty fast. Do you know what I mean? But the other the teams have actually withstood them, and then it's gotten into a little bit of and then they've kind of almost conceded the first big chance that the other teams had. Not like the first chance period, but the first big chance. If Spurs score early, it'll be really interesting to see how the stadium goes. Because I feel like some of the match-going fans, they're on a bit of a knife edge. Do you know what I mean?
Wait. So Jay, who does it mean more to? What manager is it more important for the W? Like,
I think Arsenal. It's funny. It's so funny. I feel like personally, we need this win so badly. I feel the context-wise, Arsenal need this win more than us, but Spurs need this win very, very, very much.
We just can't lose. I think that's more where I'm at. We just can't lose. We can't have another loss, make it 11, having West Ham above us, considering Lopetegui's gone.
That's why this is the problem that people. This is the thing that people aren't understanding. West Ham manager sacked above us. United manager sacked could be above us. So when people are saying about faith, I'm very patient. I'm known as a positive fan, but I'm not delusional. Yeah, I'm like, something has to change. We can't just keep losing this season. Like, in Adfidentum, it's just like we got to start picking up wins and picking up results, and no better place to start than the Emirates.
I mean, Flick said it earlier. Like, was it 2017? Last time we won at Emirates, Dele Alli little chip in the crowd.
I was there.
Bro, and by the way, can I just
league, bro? I don't want to.
I've been there for both victories at the Emirates, and that's why I don't go no more.
You need to get back.
But yeah, I said I quit after I seen it twice. I said lightning don't strike twice. It did, and I said never again.
Bro, and also, and no one talking about, is Everton at the weekend? Is that more? Don't tell me that's Moisey's first home game.
Yeah, Moises' first home
Yeah,
game.
Moises'
Written in the stars, bro.
Oh, so Arsenal away, then Moises' first homecoming for Everton. Bro, we actually must get a result tomorrow. We must get a result because
No, Everton at home tomorrow.
I think
Everton have got Villa.
we've got more chance of like. I think we might definitely lose to Everton. So. Oh my days! Now we have to get at least 4 points from these two games. I'm sorry, we just have to. Because if we don't, we could be like 15th by Monday.
Do you not think we'll sign anyone? And like, obviously, Arsenal will sign up Zubimendi.
Moani's gone.
Moani's obviously gone, but do you not think we'll get like a not an unknown signing, like a signing that people know, or do you think it'll all be like you have to Google man's name and like the research type of players?
I think that's your way, though, don't you? You don't. Not disrespectfully. That's not. No,
nice things.
No, because some of our best players ever have been like, do you know what I mean? Have been those players, and I think those players are worth more. I'll take a Saka over a Rice any day. Like, I was a bit annoyed when we paid 100 mil for a player. I'm like, that's not us. That's not what we do. We're not City. We're not like. Do you know what I mean? I think that method. Like, look at Bell. I think that I respect that method more than just go the easy way to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? I think that has more integrity. You get to build and you build a journey with a player, not just he was good over there and not just LeBron James playing for the Heat. You know what I mean?
I get it, but the thing is, when you need players for now and you're 15th, well, that's what it feels like. We're 13th, but
yeah, but FaZe, I'll ask you this question: we had Harry Kane, but we never built the team for his ability.
Why though?
Because we needed certain players, a certain criteria. Son was there, but defensively in our midfield, we never ever, because we couldn't take that next step. Kane always said he was always going to stay with us until he saw
the next step.
Yeah, and that
you know what it is? I think this is where City's just spoiled football, though, man. My whole Arsenal lifetime, we've been 1 or 2 players away, and it's something that, do you know what I mean? Like this whole.
But like you said, you don't need to go spend you don't need to spend £100 million on Rice, but again, it goes back to the whole striker situation at your club. Because do you remember when we were all telling Klopp he needed a goalkeeper and a defender, and he refused? He can point blank refused to go and do that. So he went and bought Alisson, and then he went and bought Van Dijk. Well, he bought Van Dijk, then Alisson, and then look what happened.
Yeah, but they had to emerge, innit? It's 2 players who have to fit his bill of what he wants and what he needs. They have to be any typical centre back. It's the ones I exactly want who can still manage my style of play and fit into what I'm doing. Like,
True.
Do you know what I mean?
I'll give you that, but again, like we said, everyone's telling you guys you need a striker. It's the one thing you're missing.
No, fact. But then you needed backup to Harry Kane, and like, who's going to come when that's not your traditional style of play, and then just be, we're going to need you to just score a goal when we can't. Like, do you know what I mean?
Spurs messed up. They should have developed someone. They should have had a development.
Well, it's not that easy.
Llorente was okay.
Llorente was okay, but again,
it was okay. It was nice. It was nice having actual proper striker backup for a year.
Yeah,
and we had him, and we made Champions League finals.
Champions League, because Kane was injured during that run, and everyone forgets that Kane weren't even there.
Son and Llorente carried us a lot in that competition. Lucas too.
Yeah. I think tomorrow. What tomorrow? Today now. I think we get the draw. Actually, I don't know. I hope we get the draw. I'm hoping for the point because I'm looking at their attack.
I'll take a point now, though.
It's looking blunt. I'll be real. As I said at the start of the show, it's not looking the same. They're missing players in the forward line. Affects the way they actually play as well. Mm-hmm. But then at the same time, I'm looking at makeshift defense that we've been playing and been coping with somewhat last couple of games. I know we haven't got over the line, but then I'm looking at our forward line. I'm like, Son's been underperforming, so
he does against us, though, man. He turns up against.
He does turn up against Arsenal, so it's so hard to call. That's why I've gone down the middle with it. You know, last couple of games, Arsenal been not at it, and then Spurs have been, well, apart from obviously Tamworth, Tampons.
Boy,
Yeah.
leave Tamworth alone, man.
But you know what? Sorry, because I keep seeing you lot getting beat with this stick of the Tamworth game, and I didn't actually watch it. Yeah, did you lot put out your first 11?
No, we had Van up top.
Rotated. Yeah, it was. It was.
So
Yeah.
It
So
was-
they're just being silly then, isn't it? It was a bunch of players.
No. If you look at the players that were out there, apart from really Mikey Moore, who's just come back from an injury, that team should be beating Tamworth. They've got most of them have been playing in the last few games, apart from and Werner played up top, which everyone said was a massive mistake. However, Brennan Johnson's played half the season. Madison's out there. Basuma's out there. Sar's out there. The back four is what's been our back four for the last few games. No complaints. They should be beating Tamworth.
Yeah, but how did the game go? What was like? Were
they
they
got one the last couple minutes. They had a couple of chances put in the back of the net, and they could have sent us home.
Yeah, they had a chance in like the 95th minute. Like,
Yeah.
This is the World Cup final, though, bro. This is the
You
biggest
man,
game
I
in
got
there,
to jump off quickly. Innit? I got to go and sort some cat quickly.
Yeah, cheers, man. Just quick.
Pleasure, man.
Anytime you man are
Good
ready,
luck
just
tomorrow.
shout me. Let me know. I'll jump on
Tomorrow,
anytime,
innit?
man.
Tomorrow
On
we
it,
go
yeah.
again, man. Tomorrow we go again, bro.
Big up.
Well, send me the link. I'll be there, bro.
Faye, just to quickly put on it, we basically had two chances, which was a Werner header, which was cleared off the line, and Werner went through 1-on-1. And those were both in the second half. First half, we created nothing. That's why it's so bad.
I hear you, but it was their World Cup final, though, man.
Yeah,
but-
and it was CP. It was 3G pitch as well. Do you know what I mean? You know them ones. Like, do you know what I mean?
The players were probably annoyed to even be there.
Yeah,
Like, how am I meant to get up for this? I ain't played at this level for how long? Like, do you know what I mean?
When didn't Arsenal beat Sutton on a 3G pitch and beat them 3-0, and then they were non-league. So, and they played a second team at the time.
They were probably fans of us. They were just happy to be there.
To be fair, we were.
You know what I mean? They didn't want to mess up the chance to get shirts.
I think for us, FaZe, I think what it is for how bad this season's been in certain games, that was just the icing on the cake.
I hear you.
But the thing is like I just looked at it like this is terrible. Like, but like, I always say this with the cup. Who cares? Like, it's just about being in the next round. You know what I mean? And I think that this is just another stick that people want to beat the players with.
Yeah, man. Don't let rival fans fucking beat you out of your joy for your team, man.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that, man. Don't listen. This is why this stuff is kind of counterproductive. Because now I get to listen. Say, for example, if I was a prick, I could listen to all the negative stuff you lot say about your team and then go throw it in another Spurs fan's face and act like I know ball. I know ball. Like, you know what I mean? So don't listen. At the end of the day, these men don't want the best for you. So don't listen to their what. Did you get what I'm saying? It's so sickening, man. That's why
I feel like for me, like you need that level of realism. Like, and I think it actually circles back because I wanted to make this point when you're talking about fans, and I was like, so I like to think I'm reasonably like fair, and I like to talk about the players like they're real people. Do you know what I mean? Like, as in like, and I only say stuff that I would literally say to their face. Like, if the player was,
sorry to cut you, Jay. I can vouch for you for that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? As in, like, and if the player was,
when they asked you to name shit players and you couldn't name any,
I was like, because if you're playing at the highest level of football, you're not shit.
Fact.
Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like it's disingenuous for me to say you're shit. I can't. My brain can't process that. But like with fans and stuff, it's almost like the social media age and stuff. It's like they see these players like FIFA.
Yep.
And they talk about them like they're not real. And I can't. It's like sometimes I think like if you go into work and you've got a coworker, and could you ever imagine your boss going over to like your coworker saying, look how shit this person's spreadsheets are. Are you serious? Do you not know how to control alt delete? What is wrong with you? Are you an idiot?
There's a notice board. There's a notice board in the bathroom. And
Yeah.
Slandering you, like just this man just writing suck your mum on the board, and it's got to sit there. Like, you know, he's shit at everything, and you just got to read that, and you're just like,
exactly.
what's wrong with the world?
Some days the carrot, some days the stick. But it's like I just feel like I just don't like the way certain fans talk about our players. It's just,
but you know why that is though, don't you? Let's be completely honest about the whole thing. It's because it's all about how much a lot of us fans put, how much money we invest in football, right?
No, it's
It's
not
out of our
Marlon,
trust.
man.
It
No,
is.
it's
It
not
is.
Marlon.
It
You
is.
know what
It
it
is.
is?
Do you know what I mean? He's about to justify it.
It's because everybody are failed footballers. They see some man living their dreams, getting all the women and the money they want, and they hate it. They hate it. They said, "I'll give my right arm to be there." You think
Yeah,
I?
But do you know what bugs me? Yeah, like someone like Timo Werner, right?
I was going to say Brennan Johnson. I was going to say Brennan Johnson.
No, because I give with Brendan Johnson. Like, what bugs me about Timo Werner is he has everything in football that I wish I had, right? Because I know full well I'm a better finisher than him. Put me in front of a goal, I know I'm doing it, but I ain't got everything else he's got. So it really pisses me off that he's got that talent and I don't. So I will sit there and complain, but it doesn't mean that what fans are saying, because I look at someone like Jose, where people would have been saying he couldn't play football, he couldn't do crap. He would have been sitting there complaining this, that, and the other. But he turned out to be a good coach. So generally, you don't know who the best teachers are compared to the best players.
Yeah, no, I feel like for me, it's just I don't mind human emotion. Like, and obviously, I know in the world there's a big difference, like in like emotional intelligence and like just logic and stuff like that. I don't mind fans being like you're shit or you're crap or what the hell is that, blah blah blah, because it's normal. But
Jay, don't they give that to us in the comments?
yeah, exactly. Listen, I get that doing streams, let alone
Bro,
football. Do
wait,
you know what I mean?
I'll go on better.
You
I'll
see
go
some
on
of the
better, man.
comments we've had
The
when we've done
WhatsApp group
streams.
yesterday,
It's
bro.
like, bro, it's like people. I'm like, hold on.
WhatsApp
Talk to your
group
mother with
yesterday.
that, man.
Hey, Jay, WhatsApp group yesterday, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
What did I miss? What did I miss, by the way, before we go? What did I miss? Because I noticed we lost the game, and then I put my head out and put my head back in, and it got to racism. And I was like, rah. I was like, rah, man lost one game and turned to a racist. I was like, whoa, what's going on there?
I'll talk to you off the stream, but it was a masterclass in deflection. So yeah,
Spicy, the WhatsApp group is spicy.
yeah, it's one of. But listen, I guess we'll get into the point where it's just like, listen, I understand where, in fact, we're 13th, so this is where reality bleeds into like your personality. You are justified in being upset that the club is 13th. Like, there's no, and I think people try and conflate. They're like, oh, well, you love no, I love Tottenham. I love the club. Why wouldn't you love the club? Why wouldn't you want the best and think the best of your club? That's the way I look at it. As in, I don't look for reasons to beat the club. The club give me more than enough reasons to beat them up. Do you know what I mean? I don't go looking for them. So I think that the fans now, they've got what they wanted. They were complaining about us only competing for the top four and only pushing for those kind of things. And now we're not, but we're in the cups. This is what a lot of you said you would care more about.
It's true. It's
And
true.
I'm happy.
A lot of fans for a long time said, I wish we could win a cup. The cup's more important than the league.
But Jay, the only thing that fans will come back with is, okay, they might not be they want top four, but if we were 8th or 9th and we were still there and thereabouts, the league form should dip this much for a cup. I think that's what a lot of fans are getting at right now.
It come like Gamora and Avengers. Like Thanos had to sacrifice his daughter, innit?
Yeah.
Stone. That's what come like, but that's the reason why we're so low.
Yeah. But straight away, Neil Gunner said, "Why can't you do both?"
Well, obviously that would be great. I mean, obviously, it's very, very difficult to do both, and it takes a certain amount of time and development. I'm just merely talking about the entitlement of assuming, you know, you can draw Man City in the first round, and now you're out, and now your fans are saying you don't care about cups because you drew Man City in the first round. Not this season. Look, we've got Villa away 3 days after Liverpool away. Yeah, if we lose the Villa game because the players are absolutely cream crackered, but they go through against Liverpool.
Wait, I tell you now, we could get lucky if Villa lose their next 2 Champions League games.
Yes, they're gonna have a game 3 days later. That's what I'm saying, mate. It's like, as much as it's our performance, context and situation can help or hinder the team. Do you know what I mean?
Well, is what it is. Is what it is. But yeah, look, tomorrow's going to be an interesting game. Hopefully, you three are back for the rivals tomorrow, no matter what the result is.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, listen. if Voldemort's going to be on the show, then Spurs better be getting a result.
Is he loud? Is he loud on?
Listen. I'll be civil. I'll be obviously I'll have words before and after the show, but during the broadcast I'll be very civil. You know, I'm a professional.
Don't get Spurs Kings cancelled, yeah.
Hey, let's make sure you tune in tomorrow.
Tune in tomorrow.
Today.
Every Spurs fan needs to
Oh,
tune in
Rivals.
tomorrow. Tomorrow, Rivals. Even I'll be tuning in if we win. I'll be sitting there eating my popcorn.
Yeah.
FaZe, thanks for coming on.
No,
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Jay, as always.
Always good. Always fun.
Ash, do you want to let people know about tomorrow already?
Someone's put in the comments already. Look.
I forgot to say thank you for our super chat. One second. Thank you to Callum Roach as well. Earlier for super chat. Said for the goodness.
Yeah. I think that's when we were back in Ange.
Yeah.
Big up Callum, man. He's always present, man.
What's going on here?
Callum's real, man.
He's always there, man. Big up Callum, man. Appreciate
Callum.
it, man. When we start giving out rewards on this channel, you're first up, bro. You deserve it, man. You deserve it.
Yeah, man. But yeah, tomorrow we go again, bro. Later on today, shall I say, we go again. And yeah, man, I'm excited. You know what? I don't have that panic. Normally I go into that North London derby with a bit of fear and that. I'm quite...
Even if we lose, it's nothing against us, really. I think that's where we're at.
That's how I feel, bro.
It's the mellow one, isn't it? It's not all that ramped up, and we're both in scrumpy positions, so it don't really matter. It makes no difference, really.
Do you know what the game reminds me of? Does anybody remember the year that Arsenal signed Ozil, right? And there was a North London derby literally hours before, and both clubs were predicting losses.
Yeah, no, for true, man.
It feels exactly the same. I think Arsenal won 1-0 that day. Giroud scored, and it was such a crap game.
But it's less stress this way, though, isn't it, man?
It is.
It's so much less stress this way, man.
I prefer it, to be fair.
Yeah, man. This whole having the pressure on the games, and I'm on the edge hoping to the last game of the season, and I was so close. And
Man didn't message me and said, yo, you want to link up to watch the game? I'm like,
no.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I feel mad calm and relaxed. So.
That's a nectar point, you know.
But yeah, man, that's all I got to say. We go again next week, obviously.
Sorry, Rodney's lost it. He's lost it, you know. He's naming every elite player from back in the day. He's lost his lid. And you know what the bad thing is? All these man you're naming, there's man in teams now that outstat all of them. But don't worry, man. The car you had back in the car you had in '95 is better than my flying space mobile I got nowadays, man. So big up. The Lexus I had in '08, yeah, man. Big up all of that, man.
Oh my lord. But yeah, man, that's me. Big up the chat as well. Big up the channel. Big up you, man, on the panel, and that's it, bro. Really.
Big up, man.
Yeah, big up to everyone. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And if anybody wants to join the WhatsApp groups, you know when we're going live, go check the community. But as always, hopefully tomorrow Spurs bring it home. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you
Big
Spurs.
up, big up.